Hi there, everybody, and welcome to Roll with Advantage. My name is Joe, and welcome to session number 35 of the Isles of Iverion. We've got quite the session in store for tonight as the party descends further into the Isle of Altinian to the Ruinous city at the center of the island. So there are no announcements before we get started, so I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro, and then as soon as we hop back in, we'll go ahead and dive right into the session. Oh, there actually is one thing. Brawl Lack, thank you for the follow. It's great to have you along. Happy you're here. Hopefully you enjoy today's session. I know that I will. All right, let's roll the intro and then get started. Alrighty, and
Love you, Joe.
we are back. I go through constant abuse, truly. Anyway, so as is tradition here on Roll with Advantage, instead of me doing the summary, I have the players do the summary. It's a great way for me to see kind of what they think is important. Also, with running 3 campaigns, it takes a little bit of work off my shoulders, so thanks, guys.
Sure, it's fine.
So, yeah. The summary today, I think, is Gemma, right?
Yes.
Okay, Gemma, remember, when you do the summary, it's okay to breathe, all right? Okay?
I don't like this being called out. It's
All
fine
right.
when it's you. Anyway.
All right, whenever you are ready, Gemma, you can go ahead and take it away.
Yes. So, last time we finished up on the latter part of the dinner, had Scott joining us, but we kind of decided not to bring up the ledgers that involved him and the Southern Star in the death of the Barthold sons. And then afterwards, Twig stayed behind to talk with her aunt, and eventually, like, in that discussion, revealed her connection to the Forrester house. Aunt Beth being really supportive and saying that Twig could become a good lady one day. But they have to depart from Sandpoint early, continuing on their journey to take the Dowie artifacts to Hearthcrest. But Din has a little procession from the town, and a few of the guards to see us out, and we're able to say our goodbyes and get back onto the sea. And our journey goes pretty smoothly, coming across a larger jungled island with a city on its horizon around 2 weeks in. And we decide to pop in and check it out. And just past the shore, they find a skeleton with a map of the island contained, I guess, on the X-person, which has several locations on the island marked, including some tower on the opposite coast, a settlement deep in the jungle, the city which they could see on the distance, dragon remains, and a door. And the last is what the party choose to head to first. So along the way, they attempt to make it past a group of lizard folk and cockatrices by skirting round through the jungle and away from the path. But they get spotted and attacked thanks to some terrible rolls. And even once they seemingly eliminated that threat, we start to see the beginning of what would be a constant stream of arrows, not targeted at the party, but deliberately at the ground just near them from a mysterious source in the city. Which at that point was still very far away. But the group persists anyways, discovering that the door marked on the map is some kind of secluded underground grotto, and that to open the door it requires 2 dragon teeth, one of which we can use Nalfian's dagger, which is made of one, but then we also learn that there are 2 other dragon teeth that are in various points in the island. So we move to the dragon remains, which is mentioned as one of the places, and take a much more stealthed approach with Nalfian just using his echo to move undetected past more lizard folk that were there, using the cover of the dragon's skeleton to grab what seems to be the last tooth of this dragon remain. But on the escape the party is caught by the lizard folk and quickly tailed by a massive group of them on the way back to the door, and are barely able to get behind it before those lizard folk catch up. And even though they thought they were safe and able to explore this next portion, they are greeted by a hooded figure with a longbow, which they are able to see is a dragonborn, but just barely, who is wanting us to leave before he shoots us down. And after a little bit of shaky conversation, we are able to at least get a moment to talk. The archer agreeing to let us stay in that little entryway, safe from the lizard folk, provided we answer some of his questions.
Okay. Exactly. So, that is right where we're going to pick up. As all of you are now, so we have Eurydice, Nalfian, Twig, and your companion Blossom, the bard who was sent with you, a new recruit or trainee for the Silent Shields, having been sent with you in an effort to train her for what may come when she is a member of the Silent Shields. As all of you stand at the base of this sewer area, looking upward, you can see that Dragonborn, this massive figure, huge longbow in his hands and an arrow nocked in it, ready to pull back at any moment. As he addressed you with a very, very slow, deep tone. As we ended last session, he said,
I have a few questions, and you will answer them. And if in any moment I anticipate or I see any sense of lie or deceit, I will not hesitate to fire.
And inhaling, he unknocks the arrow and puts it back into the quiver behind his back. And he pulls back his hood. And you can see that this Dragonborn in particular, you're taken back for just a moment. As you can see, they're wearing this sort of heavy plate armor. They have these like interconnecting chains hanging around their this plate mail cuirass, where you can just see the chains sort of clinking together, and it seems like hanging off the chains are these different small books or journals or pieces of parchment. You can see two glowing golden eyes, and you can see scales of black, a black Dragonborn. And this is generally what he looks like. So, as he looks down towards the group of you, he just... black is chromatic. As he just stares down towards the group of you, he begins to speak.
Plainly, why are you here?
Yuri steps back a little bit from where Nalfian and Twig are, because Nalfian like moved in front of them too. Just so that like he can see her a bit, and so that if she fucks this up, he's not gonna accidentally hit Twig or Nalfian. And she's gonna try and say as like, loudly as she can, so he can hear her. We were on our way to Halfcrest, the college specifically, and we saw an island that we thought we would just take a look at as we passed by, because we know there were weird things going on around Iverion with the islands popping up.
So let me get this straight. You just found this island out of the blue. It just appeared.
Yes. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. We didn't look for it. We didn't know it was here. We just stumbled across it as we were sailing.
As a well-traveled man, you would know that these islands just kind of come and go. We didn't set out for anything. It just happened in our way. And as my friend here said, we wanted to take a look.
Eurydice, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. Ooh. That's... that would be a 22.
22.
That's my girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. If you just happen to stumble upon this island, then what do you want?
We were just curious. Mostly. We found a map on the beach. It was attached to some skeleton. It showed the city, and it showed a settlement, and it showed a tower. We were just wondering what's happening here.
So you find corpses on the beach, and you decide that this is a good vacation. Is that what I'm following?
Not so much a vacation. We also... Well, the reason we're going to Halfcrest, the college, is because we have artifacts that we found that would be of interest to the college, and sometimes we go and we just see what some ruins hold. The skeleton looked old. It wasn't exactly a fresh body.
The college?
Yes, the College of Halfcrest. We had some things we thought they may be able to look into better than us.
Eurydice, make a persuasion check.
Can Nelson
This is so
make a
scary.
perception check? Just how is he, or an insight check? How is he looking?
Yeah,
Like
make an insight check.
Okay.
23, baby.
Oh, man. Killing these rolls. Killing
yeah.
them dead.
It's gonna go
What is
bad
modifier
later.
here? That's gonna be a spicy 9.
Okay, 9.
Oh.
Yeah, he doesn't seem... I mean, you can clock this. He doesn't necessarily seem angry. He just seems a little confused.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then I can tell you and make your job much easier. There is nothing on this island worthy of taking. So I recommend you leave as soon as the dawn comes.
Then why are you here? I mean, no disrespect, friend, but if there's nothing worth being here at all, then why are you here?
This is my home, and I will not leave my home.
Alright, well, fair enough. But we can't go back the way we came.
No, traveling at night is incredibly dangerous in the jungles. The lizard folk. They grow extra ravenous at night. You're lucky you made it in when you did. You will stay in the city tonight, near the northern gate. Tomorrow at sunrise I will open it for you and you will leave and go on your way. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, that seems fair.
Good. Should you wander around the city, I will let you know right now the knowledge that was once stored here is gone. You will find nothing of value in any of the halls or buildings or temples of my home. But my one warning to you, while you and me are the only ones in this city, do not go near the library. That is my only condition. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, it's... Why shouldn't we go near the library?
You are a guest in my city and you ask questions. I tell you it is dangerous. That should be all the warning you need.
Then yes, you make yourself perfectly clear. We won't go near the library.
Good. There's a
Where are
maid.
we exactly?
You are on the Isle of Altenian.
Right, I know that, but what does that mean? If you are the only one left, what happened?
Trusted one too many people with things they never should have been trusted with. Me and all of the people that used to live here were servants of Ayun, knowledge keepers. The information that was stored in our libraries rivaled the greatest libraries and colleges in the world. But it seems as though there are new places for this now. As I said before, head to the northern gate and wait there until sunrise.
There's a little bit of sadness in his voice, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
At least just on a sort of cursory.
Yeah.
Insight, yeah.
Nalfian is gonna, like, take a glance toward Eurydice and just kind of see what is Eurydice's vibe right now. Does she look like she trusts this guy, or...
Well, I think we're grateful that he's letting us in. And she's kind of got a look of like, okay, let's not push our luck. Because like his reaction to her even just asking what's in the library was very strong. So she's kind of like, let's take this and then we'll figure out if we're doing anything else later.
Got it. Alright, well, if that's the case, Nalfian will just kind of, like, have that moment to look at Eurydice, quickly glance over his shoulder to make sure Twig is okay, and just kind of give a short nod up towards the Dragonborn man, like, to lead the way.
See those ramps interconnecting the different pillars? Walk on them one at a time and they will not break. If two of you stand on them together, they will shatter. Once you get up here, head straight to this hallway, and it will take you to the city. There's a main thoroughfare that will take you from the southern side, which you are on now, to the northern gate.
And you see him kind of look up, and you can see in this area in particular, there seems to be some type of like rain catch, a small hole in the ceiling that would allow water to be caught and used within the sewer system. And he looks down towards all of you and says,
You all understand that my range of vision is beyond that of a normal humanoid's, correct?
Yes.
Good. I just wanted that to be crystal clear before you get any ideas.
and with that, you can see him walk towards the edge, and step off the edge and dive down, and immediately that cloak that was on his back just kind of flips around towards the front, and these two leathery dragon wings sprout out of his back as he just soars down and then up out of that rain catch, flying away.
Wow, he's a ball of sunshine, ain't he?
Yep, well, he's a ball of sunshine that's let us live, so let's go.
Alright, fair enough. After you. Ladies first.
Yep. And as we start heading up and into the city.
Okay. Alrighty. Sounds good to me. So as all of you head up the stairs, one by one, obviously, any of those interconnected wooden platforms, stepping from one to the other, and nobody walking, no two people walking on one platform together. You can hear them creak and bend, but never break, following that mysterious Dragonborn man's instructions. Eventually, following that corridor down, it does open up into a large plaza, where you can see different tall buildings with domed roofs and rods coming off of the top of them. These beautiful arched buildings just collapsed and destroyed. You can see in this main plaza there is two statues, both of them broken and decomposed, weathered by nature and by time. But the forms are still easy to make out because of how different they are. For one, you can see one statue being that of a Dragonborn. You can see them wearing what looks to be some type of long cloak and plate armor, their hand outstretched, a bow slung along their back, and books hanging from their chest. And you can see the other statue standing parallel to it is a lithe form, androgynous, with pointed ears. An elf, and you can see the two of them. While the hands are broken, you can most likely assume that these two entities were shaking hands at one point in time, but those pieces of stone have long fallen away and are nowhere to be seen in the immediate area. But this is generally what you're looking at right now. Okay. So.
Just from looking around, can we get an idea of how long ago this whatever happened here happened?
Yeah, make a history check.
Now can make it.
Yeah.
You know, he's studied up.
Yeah, we'll see how much Nalfian knows about stoneworking. If we can identify patterns in architecture.
That's a 4.
Long time, buddy boy. You kind of
All
look at him, kick at him. Sounds like old stone. Yep.
All right, yeah. He's just like puts his hand in his pockets, nods, like, yes. That's stone.
Kind of like Nalfian right now has the same energy that like a group of dads do when they're standing around a grill and they're like, yep,
Gotta flip it over.
Gotta flip it over. Yep. That's old. This is old stuff.
Got it. He will keep that thought to himself.
Yeah, he kind of tell that
Please
everybody
share that
else.
with the class.
Yeah, how
No. I mean, you guys can see Nalfian just kind of like kick over a stone and like give it a little look, but he's not gonna say anything.
God. Okay. Let me see here. Obviously, Brandon was the history guy, but let me check Blossom's proficiencies. Maybe she can help. She's a Valor
what we
Bard,
need
so. History. Nope. Well,
Plus 2.
oh, she is proficient though, so she can make a history check. I mean, I can roll that real quick actually, just because I have it pulled up. Bop. Bop. Okay, 13. Blossom. Okay. All right, Blossom. She'll kind of look down at the stone and look up at the statues. And as they do, they think for a moment and they say, well, if there's one thing that I can be rather sure of, and take this with a grain of salt, but this definitely does predate Iverion. I'm not sure by how much, though. You see, Iverion architecture, at least, if the stylings of it, at least, Well, they try to use more, say, wood and muslin, with using stone as framing. But these buildings in particular, they, well, for one, they're rather gaudy. You can see, and they kind of point out in a few different areas where there are these divots or areas for like filigree or lining with certain types of rare or valuable metals. And they say, now, that is not in the stylings of Iverion at all. But that's the interesting part, is some of this architecture is fairly reminiscent of Odero and Calderaz, but smack dab in the middle of Iverion? I don't know. It's odd. But I can tell you it's older, so at least is 400 years plus old. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a lot more.
Well,
I don't know.
these islands move around a lot, so who knows who found it way before we did.
Perhaps.
Alright, well, let's not take too long.
Joe.
Yeah.
How much does Yossi know about Ayun? Like the what the figure is meant to be, and just about their general kind of history?
Yeah, so just Ayun in general?
Yeah.
Or as it relates to Altinian? Okay, just Ayun in general. Okay. So Ayun in general, you know that obviously she is the representation of like she's the keeper of knowledge, the guardian of truth. People see her as sort of like the god of scholars. So her entire religion and the people that are devout followers of her, they worship knowledge and skill, proficiency tactics, the study of magic, libraries, things like that. And this is just basic knowledge that you would have growing up near temples. So Ayun is constantly tied in conflict with Kord, because Ayun is a lawful neutral deity and Kord is chaotic neutral. And pretty much their conflict is kind of playful in a cosmic sense, where they try and outdo each other as tactical generals. Where Ayun will pretend or pose herself as a human general in charge of a group of troops, and Kord will kind of rise in the ranks as a general in a separate army, and then the two will clash, and they'll try and prove who's the better tactician or warrior. Like, which is more important, having ferocity in battle or having tactics in battle? And they continue to do that. So thousands of people lose their lives every time they get into a spat, but they're just trying to prove who's better. Whether it's law and order in combat or whether it's just chaos and disorienting your enemy. So that's kind of something that you, off the top of your head, that you clock right away. Anything else would require a religion check.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that, because I don't really know what else to ask. We can get moving, because I also don't want to be here for that long.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah, wherever the kind of like the corridor he told us to meet him at, Nalfin's kind of looking around to start heading that way, leading the rest of them.
Okay, Nalfian, make a perception check for me.
I can do, bro chacho. Ooh, spicy. Okay, hold on. 22.
22, okay. Let me just real quick. Okay.
I hear you rolling upstairs.
It's because I'm using
I'm concerned.
my
The metal dice?
tin can
Yeah,
dice.
those ones are freaking loud, man.
Okay. So you said 23?
22.
22, okay. All right, just barely. All right. So as the group of four are walking along, just looking up at the different towers and terraces, the ruined buildings, the collapsed stone, the broken statues, these wonderful, what would have been wonderful fountains and waterways running throughout the entire city, now dry and cracked. Nalfian, peeking out one of the ruined buildings, you can just barely see a set of eyes looking down at you. You see dark skin, but human skin. And you can just barely see the point of an ear of an elf. As soon as you make eye contact, they realize you make eye contact. They immediately dart back into the building.
Not a dark elf, though, right?
No, just a
Okay, I got it.
darker-skinned wood elf, probably.
Okay. He's going to keep walking,
Mhm.
but lower his voice as he's walking, and just kind of say under his breath, Eurydice, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that guy say there was no one else here?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Uh-huh. What if I told you I just saw someone? Don't do that thing where you look around after someone tells you not to look.
Okay. I'm not going to.
Just keep walking.
What did you see and where?
He'll kind of like do a little gesture with his head.
Mhm.
A couple houses down. There was a set of eyes in the doorway. Pretty sure it was an elf, but I can't be sure.
Okay. Joe, how far away is that from us right now?
Maybe 30 feet, 40 feet.
Okay. If I know they're there, can I use message?
A message, don't you have to be able to see the creature?
It says towards a creature within range.
And what's the range?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do direction because you can go through you can go
Yeah.
through walls if it
Walls.
has a passage or thing.
There's through solid objects.
I think as long as you know that the thing's there. I could be wrong, but
And then what's the
it might
range?
be.
120 feet.
Okay. So, in that range,
Hell yeah, that's teamwork right there.
you send a message. What do you say?
I say, hello. We're not here to hurt you. Are you okay? Who are you?
Make a persuasion check.
Getting a lot of these today.
Nothing's gonna like bend down as if he has to tie his shoe to just kind of like stall them where they're at.
That is a 16.
16. I think the more important question is, what are you doing here?
We happened upon the island and we made it through the gate, but we got stuck in here because of the lizard folk.
You have a ship?
Yes.
Do you think that, I don't have any money, but would there be a way if I could show you something valuable that you could have in the city, that you would allow me passage on your ship off this island?
You might not even have to give us anything valuable. Who are you? How did you end up here?
Come into the building and I will tell you everything.
Eurydice, you have that look in your eye. What's happening?
They maybe want passage off the island. They said there are valuable things in the city. They've asked if I could go speak to them then in the building. She's gonna message again.
It's someone else.
Yes. She's gonna message again. Just me or my friends too?
They all may come.
Okay, Yuri's gonna kind of gesture to the others, and she's gonna move kind of fairly quickly because this guy was very insistent on I've got great eyesight. And she's gonna go to the building where Nalfian kind of indicated.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as you step in, you can see, like I said before, most of these buildings are stone. And then moving on to the interiors, they seem to have some bits of wooden frame that kind of hold everything together and support everything. And you can see the building that you step into, maybe at one point in time, was a smaller inn or tavern. You can see that you're currently standing in a common room, and there's a set of wooden stairs that went up to a lofted area. Those stairs are broken now, and you can see sitting atop a rafter, there is a woman sitting there. You can see a short bow slung around her back, along with a bundle of arrows and a quiver. You can see that she is wearing clothes of deep green, like deep forest greens and navies, with a sash around her waist that is a very, very bright red. You can see her hair is currently in a multitude of different braids, and she has this almost like espresso colored skin, as well as these in white, these tattoos all over her face and arms, and the bits and pieces of her chest and legs that you can see also seem to have these tattoos that almost look like vines or branches kind of sprouting off in one direction or another. As she looks down towards the group of you, stays where she's at, and says, "I am Veletha. And this is Veletha. Share with all."
Yo, she's so pretty.
So cool.
Oh no.
Wow.
So that is she. And she looks down towards you, and her eyes, you can tell, are this like deep forest green, not glowing or unnatural or anything, but she just looks down at you with a very neutral look on her face and says, "So, if I tell you the truth, you will get me off this island."
Yes. Yes, we'll help you get off the island.
I was shipwrecked many years ago. It's hard to count the days now, but maybe 10 or 12 years. I had always had an unnatural talent for staying out of sight and keeping myself hidden. After a few years of being out in the forest, the lizard folk began to catch on, and I had no choice but to retreat into the city. I was able to climb one of the walls, and I've been living off rations ever since, and the small bits and pieces of water I can find. I haven't left the city in some time because the last time I did, those lizard folk almost got me. In fact, they had taken me back to one of their camps, and well, she kind of shakes her head. I prefer not to think about it. So I've been here ever since, finding what I can, and hoping that that thing that flies, that man, I believe, doesn't find me.
Banron, the Dragonborn.
Correct.
He has no idea you're here.
If he does,
done a great
he's never
job.
said anything to me.
Yeah, he said, well, he said to us that there's no one else in the city beside him. So you must be doing a fairly good job.
And you can see her sort of have this sigh of relief, this exhale of air. Thank the gods. That is very good to hear.
I don't think he'd be too happy to know you're here, so he's expecting us. But you've done a good job at keeping out of sight. I suggest staying here until we can manage a way out. He's gonna open the gates for us tomorrow. Maybe we could... Nalfin just kind of like grabs the back of his neck. He's like, this dude's not gonna like this. I don't know. I don't know the best way to go about this, because if he sees you, I don't think he's gonna be too happy. But if you're able to get in here, surely you can get out, right?
Well, sadly, the grappling hook and chain that I had been using to get in and out of the city, when I had returned last, it had been stolen from me. It was the way that I was getting out of the city. Getting in, I can scale the walls, but climbing down and climbing up is two separate things entirely. I do know of another way out, but it is dangerous, and I don't think that I could do it alone.
Nalfin's gonna
What's
like...
the...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What's the other way? Because I have a possible idea, but if you tell us the other way first, then we can decide.
Well, the other way is through the library. You see, I don't know
I feel
exactly
like we
what...
definitely can't do that.
I don't
I
know
mean,
exactly...
that's the one place we're not meant to go, and if we're already trying to smuggle you out, I feel like it's not a good idea to, well, do it that way. Or even
makes so
keep
much
it
noise.
hidden from him in the first place.
Well, you see, I've been in there before, and I've seen things. You see, this island is under some type of curse or something. I can see soldiers or individuals, a lot like, and he looks, and she looks to you, Nalfian and Eurydice, a lot like us, gesturing to the just elven descendancy in general. Except they're broken and twisted, lost. Something is tying them here. Maybe the reason he doesn't want you going down there is because it's dangerous. But from what books I've been able to find and read, the elves who lived here at one point in time, they don't deserve that.
I insight check her.
Yeah, make an insight check.
I'm gonna insight check too, because I'm not sure about this.
Okay.
That's my insight. It's a 15.
15. Okay.
Yeah, that's a 12.
12. As far as the two of you can tell, she's being honest. There is genuine sadness in her voice. You do clock that. Probably just an empathetic person then. I know you may have been told one thing, and believe me, I am afraid of him as well, but I don't think anyone deserves that. And it's a way out. If what I was able to find is true, then it should take us directly to, what was that? The Western Beach.
What about Banron? You don't think he knows about whatever this curse is?
I'm sure he does, and that's why he encouraged you to not go that way. So that way you weren't in any harm. Those spirits, from what I've been able to find, they never wander out of that library. But whatever that curse is, it's keeping them there. Obviously, I don't think it's a good idea to disturb the remains of the dead, but...
Alright, how about... Nalfian just kind of like... There's a quick glance he gives to Twig, and like there's... He's trying to like file through all of his nightly readings, because I'm pretty sure there's a thing in there about helping the meek and whatever. Not that this lady's meek, but...
Wow.
Nah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I
Just
getcha.
helping people in general. Alright, how about this? This man is expecting us. I assume he's going to give us a place to stay. And then, come morning, take us to the gate. Might be better that we take him up on his offer and at least get information from him, if he's willing to talk. Get a better idea of what exactly is going on around here. And then maybe when he leaves us, we could take a look at the library. I don't know, what do you think? And Nob's gonna like look to Eurydice and Twig and Blossom.
I will also say, this library in particular had a lot of information about a lot of different things. You could potentially find information on things that you've been trying to, if there is anything that you've been trying to find. Or there may have been, well, I know there might be artifacts or magical items stored here. Not possessions of people, but just items that were entrusted to the library.
We're not meant to go there. We're not meant to see, I guess, what's inside it. He wouldn't even tell us.
All I can say is that those people don't deserve to suffer like that. And I fear to think what this man may do.
Hey Joe, just as a clarification.
Yeah.
We're allowed to just kind of vibe in the city, right? We just can't go near the library. Were we supposed to meet him somewhere specific, or did I mishear that?
No, he just told you to go towards the north gate, and then in the morning he would let you out.
Okay, so, alright, alright.
So as long as you're there by dawn the next morning, then, you know.
Okay, thank you. I was confused. I thought he wanted us to go somewhere certain. Okay. Nalfian is going to say... Because now he's starting to recall the line specifically of to protect the weak and defenseless. Benren said he has eyes all over the city. My fear is if we even approach, he's gonna know. We were given explicit instructions not to go there. But if there are people who, as you say, are... something is keeping them there, I think it's at least worth looking into.
I can get you in undetected. I've been
How?
avoiding his gaze for, is it 12 years now. How? If you exit out this building and continue heading towards the north gate, 15 minutes away from the north gate, there's a large building with a red dome. Go into that building, and there is a passageway that will take us from that dome to the library, completely covered by buildings. There's a little bit of crawling, but easy enough for seemingly any of you to handle.
There's no reason why we shouldn't trust you, right?
I mean, no. I'm a stranger. So obviously, take whatever I say with a grain of salt, but I want off this island, but I also want to try and help those within the library, if I can.
Right.
You seem very insistent that they don't deserve to be trapped like that. What do you know about who these people are and why they've been cursed?
Honestly, I don't know that much. I guess I can see that they're like me, like you. And I see the statues around the town of elves and dragonborn. From what I read, they worked together peacefully in harmony. In fact, there was one tome that I read in particular that said the elves had tried to take the knowledge that was within Altinian and share it with the world. There was so much knowledge kept in here that you could say it was bursting at the seams.
But the Dragonborn weren't too fond of that idea.
I was never able to find anything like that. It just said that they wanted to, but I think history is a clear indicator that that never happened.
Yeah, well, our friend out there wasn't too fond of the idea of something that was his being taken, so... Alright.
Hey, by the way, we didn't introduce ourselves, which is a little bit rude. I'm Eurydice, this is Nalfian, this is Twig, and then this is Blossom. And we want to try and help you get off the island, and we want to try and help these people. So we just head to the north gate, go to the building with the red dome, and then go through the underground passageway, and we'll see what we can do.
You can see her smile at that. Thank you very much. I am very appreciative of you being willing to take this risk.
How does Twig look? Because I know Twig wasn't too pleased at the idea of us going exactly where we were told not to.
She's not vibing at all.
No.
Chekhov's library.
Mhm. Okay.
Guess we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nalfiz has weird vibes too, but... he doesn't want to just tell these people, well, sucks to fuck and all sucks to be you, doesn't it?
Sucks to
So-
fuck? Is that what you
Sucks
just
to
said?
fuck. I was gonna say sucks to fucking be you, but, you know, words are hard, okay? As we are walking out...
Wait, no. One more question.
Okay, sorry.
Why have you never tried to approach him and ask about leaving or anything? I mean, if you've never had a conversation with him for years, and why haven't you tried?
Well, there have been other remains I found in the city. Remains littered with arrows. Remains of, from what I could tell, people like me. So while there was never anything written about Dragonborn not wanting to do one thing or another, I was afraid that if this one in particular found someone like me, especially inside the city, I wouldn't exactly be given a chance.
I mean, he didn't want us in this city either. But once we explained ourselves, then, well, I guess he's shown to be at least a little bit forgiving.
Yes, well, I am afraid that with someone who's been in his city for as long as I have, I'm afraid it wouldn't go over as well. Someone skulking around his city versus however all of you came in, I'm sure is two very different things.
Well, let's just say he wasn't too fond of us.
You can't exactly correct a wrong with a wrong, though. I think, if anything, it's better to not try and keep going around him.
Well, in all honesty, there is now a way out. That's possible, because all of you are here. And it's also possible to save people. At least, save their souls, perhaps. And even if it would have been the more logical choice to speak with him sooner, I'm afraid I'm a very emotional person. I won't apologize for that.
Like, sometimes, in order to help people, we have to break a couple of rules. I don't like it any more than you do. But if there are people in there who need our help, then that's something that I should be doing. And ultimately, if these people are trapped there, then maybe after he's done chewing us a new one, he'll be glad to have the burden taken care of. We're doing him a favor as well, whether he likes it or knows it or not. Oh, when he says all this, what is the Elven Woman doing? Is she vibing or?
No, yeah, I mean, she's definitely she's fairly neutral in response to most things. Just like in terms of like the look on her face. But no, yeah, she looks as though she's sort of quietly nodding, but there's not necessarily a smile or a frown on her face. It's just fairly neutral.
Okay. You're to say, is this the path you want to take?
Yeah, as much as I wanted to avoid conflict, I think this is probably the best option. There are people who are in need of help, and it's very possible that this Dragonborn just hasn't known how to deal with it. It seems like a big job, and probably wanted us to just stay away from it because didn't think we could maybe handle it, or didn't want us getting involved in his business.
Maybe he didn't want us
I
to
think
get
we
hurt.
should help. Yeah, I think we need to help them. And there's knowledge there. There's a lot of things that if we don't go and help and then see what's there, just knowledge that might be lost.
Like,
Well, I guess I just hope he's willing to forgive us.
I mean, if these people are able to be saved, why would he be mad?
well, we're explicitly going against what he said. He'll be pissed. But I agree with Twig. Let's hope he can forgive if we're going to be doing him and these people a favor. We're going in with the idea that we're doing good here. We're not trying to take anything from him. So I say if we're going to do this, I think we need to do it now.
And, I mean, for what it's worth, as Blossom, as they begin to speak up, I think I agree with Nalfian. I don't know, I just hate to leave this place thinking that we could have done good and we could have helped somebody. Even if it means going against him. I mean, can't get too mad, right? Hopefully.
Yep. Alright, well, let's do this.
Okay. Alrighty. So, with that, you can see that Velitha, she nods and sort of swings and jumps down, very dexterous and lithe, and kind of does lands and then makes her way towards the back entrance of this place leading into a collapsed alleyway. She says, "Remember, the house with the red dome. Go in and I will be there waiting for you."
Nalf wants to take one more insight check.
Okay. On what specifically?
Is she leading us? Is she being truthful where she's leading us? Like,
Gotcha.
is there
Okay.
positive intentions here?
Yeah. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Okay. I think my insight's +0, but that's a pretty good roll. Yeah, it is. 17.
17? I mean, yeah, she genuinely does seem like she wants you to meet her at this house so she can take you to the library. There's not, like, some type of weird underlying thing, at least as far as you can tell.
Okay.
All right. So, if there's nothing else, then all of you head out of the house. You make your way, and if you guys aren't going to talk about anything, then we'll just jump right to you getting into the house.
Nalf is not gonna talk about anything, but he is going to, like, keep an eye out as they're moving.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Just to make sure. Let me figure out what my modifier is here. 8. 11.
11? Okay. Keeping an eye to the sky, you don't see too much. Every once in a while, you can hear the sound of arrows impacting onto the ground, maybe somewhere outside of the city, being a little bit closer to the walls. So in this current moment, Barnan must be busy.
Okay.
Has his sight distracted as of now.
Then we're just heading that way.
Okay, alrighty. So you head that way, and you make your way to the house with the red dome. You can see that Velitha is there waiting for you. She smiles, and as you enter, she says, "I'm glad that you came. I know this wasn't an easy choice to make, but I have a feeling that we're really going to do some good."
Nalvin's just gonna nod.
Alrighty. So with that, you make your way through some interconnected buildings, currently collapsed down on each other, falling apart, but there are a few times where you have to, like, crawl on your stomach. But eventually, after a while, you do manage to get to a good point where eventually it does open up. The ceiling is broken down and collapsed in different parts, and you can see this large, like opening foyer area. And you can see inscribed on the walls are the different symbols of Ioun, maybe once painted with murals, but now completely broken and in disarray. You can see 2 different statues. You can see another elf and another dragonborn. Except in this area in particular, you can see that the statue of the elf is almost completely destroyed. Arm broken off, leg broken off, barely able to continue to stand, but still is. And you can see that in the middle of this floor, in this foyer, there is a spiral staircase that leads down, as currently you are standing above the library.
Is the Dragonborn statue destroyed, or
No.
more so the elf one is?
More so the elf one, yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Once they get into that opening, Twig is gonna grab her hood, pull it over her eyes, and she only wants to be looking at the ground. And she's just gonna, I guess with a free hand, grab onto Nauf's hand.
Okay.
Okay. He's not gonna push her to pull it down right now, but he's gonna take her hand.
All right. And with that, she gestures for you to follow her and says, just be ready. We are going to go underground. So be prepared for that. The library and the vaults of the library were underground. So keep that in mind. As she begins to descend down the spiral staircase, and you can see what almost looks to be... this part has been much more well-preserved. You can see stone hallways interconnected one to the other, leading off to different wings. And you can see that the hallway that she's leading you down leads to what almost looks like a small stone building inside the underground portion of this, but you can see the doors are open and there's a staircase that leads down again. And you can see a statue standing atop the stone building, and that statue is of a dragonborn. And you can see that it's the same dragonborn and the same elf wherever you go. Sort of these androgynous, neutral representations of the two.
You also
different
noted
people.
that the Dragonborn in the statue was had books and stuff. Does he resemble Banrin at all, or no? Or is that a racist idea to think all Dragonborn look the same?
I mean,
which I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they had the same descriptor.
They were both wearing the same type of armor.
Okay, but that's it.
Yeah, in terms of face shape, I mean, kind of. I mean, all Dragonborn kind of have maws and different sets of horns, but nothing too crazy drawing the two together.
If I looked at it long enough, could I discern if they were maybe related?
I'd say that, sadly, because of weather...
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that you could do that. I mean, the one thing that you could...
No, that's cool.
Okay.
I'm just trying to... Nalfian's just trying to put together in his head, what exactly happened here. Because he's not, he's not the smartest crayon in the box. But he understands relationships to a certain extent. And obviously something happened. So yeah. I think he's just trying to put together a defense if something goes wrong here.
Yeah. And would you have, which statues would you have been investigating? Like the ones when you immediately got into the city, or the two that were outside the library?
I mean, honestly, he's just been looking at each one carefully, because this is the second time you've mentioned where, the statues have been falling apart, but it seems to be every time it's the elven statues that are more in disarray than the dragonborn statues. So he's just trying to play detective here. It's all good.
Yeah, well, make an investigation check for me real quick, because there's
he's rolling all his best stats tonight. Oh, that's not a D20, Kayla. What is it?
Oh yeah, don't roll a D12. That'd be awkward.
It doesn't really matter because I rolled a 3.
Oh, yeah, and I'm assuming
And
that's
his
a 3,
investigation's
right?
plus 0.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
I told you, these aren't... Nuffian's tried to do things that he's not good at, but bless him for trying.
Truly, truly. Okay. Yeah, as you look around, there's not much to go off of. I mean,
Yeah.
you sort of passively look at the two, but you're not exactly sure what to look for. The elven statues have been in more disarray, broken off at the joints in different places. The dragonborn statues just look to be weathered by time, not
Okay.
necessarily destroyed.
No worries.
Mhm.
Then he's just gonna continue following down that staircase. Kind of... He noticed when Twig pulled her hood up, but considering the situation, he's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna kind of like squeeze her hand a little tighter, but just keep moving.
Okay. So, with that, go ahead and pull into the final little scene
Ooh.
here as walking in through the hallway, very narrow, very claustrophobic. It just slowly begins to narrow until eventually opening up into a domed area with a small stone building with a dragonborn statue above it, leading in to the library. So with that, she looks back to all of you one last time and says, I just want to double check that you're okay with doing this.
Well, if it's gonna help people, then we gotta break a couple rules. So... let's just hope what we're going in here to do is what you say it is.
It is, as far as I know. She knows Twig isn't exactly okay with it, so she'll just look to Eurydice.
We'll just face whatever is there. Half of what we do is just trying to help people, so this seems like the only right course of action.
All right. Okay. I haven't gotten very far in here. I mostly come by myself, but I feel as though me moving through, it's a lot easier to avoid things. So the feeling that all of us moving together might be a little more difficult to avoid conflict.
What do you mean, conflict? What are you expecting to see?
Well, as I had said, there are lost souls, and they are not exactly the most kind souls. They are angry. They had never challenged me as they had never seen me. But I'm sure that if there are more people coming to them, then, well, that may change.
Well, I say we try to approach this as quietly as possible. And if things turn ugly, they turn ugly. But if we can avoid conflict, that would be ideal.
I agree.
We step where you do, so lead the way.
Right. And she will take the front. And there we go. All right. Take the front, and she will begin to move. So, just so I know, going down this line, what is the marching order here? So obviously, Velitha is at the front.
Yeah, Nalphin will be behind her.
Okay.
And I assume because he's like holding onto Twig's hand, Twig is in the middle.
Is Blossom gonna be at the back?
Well, Blossom is a melee bard.
Oh.
Yeah, she's got like heavy armor and a shield because she's a valid bard.
Throw her up here.
Yeah.
Then why don't we do like... I cannot say her name. My mouth doesn't make that sound.
Velitha?
Velitha? Okay.
Velatha.
Velitha.
Velatha. There we go.
Then maybe Velitha, Blossom, Nalf, Twig, and Yuri.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's big enough to stand 2 by 2. So
That Yuri can sit next to Nalf if she.
well,
she
that means
pleases.
Blossom would be next to Nalf.
Okay, that works too.
Sorry, yeah. Because if we have Velitha at the front, and then so Velitha at the front, then behind her we have Blossom and Nalfian, and then behind them we have Eurydice and Twig.
I'm down.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case, Twig will stop holding Nal's hand and hold on to Yuri's, because that seems to make much more sense.
That makes more sense. Yeah, she'll hold her hand.
Okay. Alrighty. So just as a quick side note here, just so that everybody is aware, I'm swapping. At least this is a trial run. I'm gonna swap from using squares on a battle map to using hexes.
This is the response to yesterday with Alec.
Not necessarily, but it makes the whole Alec thing a lot easier when you use hexes as opposed to using squares. So also hexes just make more sense because like technically in D&D you're not allowed to move diagonally from square to square. You have to like move one up, then one one over, then one up, and then one over, and then one up, because if you move diagonally then it just kind of wrecks the math. The only thing I need to do here real quick is before I do this is I need to reset the fog of war.
Now we can see everything.
And then I need to preload the scene.
I mean, Twig can literally only see the floor in front of her, so speak for yourself, bud.
I'm sorry.
I thought that she had dark vision. Oh, she's looking down. That's why. Ha.
Yeah, she's just refusing to look.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
like,
nice.
I may be here, but I'm not going to take it in.
Yuri
Oh,
is
man.
literally her eyes in this moment right now.
And everybody
That's why
here
she's holding onto people's hands.
has
She
dark
can't
vision.
see.
That's amazing. Alrighty.
Like me in a haunted house.
Wait, can the party go to a haunted house? We need a Halloween
Oh
episode.
my
Joel.
god.
Alrighty. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pause this. And as all of you begin to descend down the stairways, it is about 10 feet wide, so it's a fairly large stairwell, and it's not very cramped. It's very tall, very wide, as you're able to easily walk 2 by 2, heading down. As you can see, eventually there is this glowing orange light emanating from the base of the stairs. As you get to the base of the stairs and begin to walk down this hallway, maybe about 15, 20 feet, you can see this sort of glowing orange emanation on the ground. These runes inscribed that are currently glowing and giving off light. And you can see there are 2 entities in this room. Haven't exactly noticed you yet, but you can't really get a good line of sight on them. It's just every once in a while you can begin to see them through the haze of the orange light. Armored individuals with these sort of phantasmal blades hanging from their hands. Wispy blue energy just coming out of their helms and swirling around the different bits and pieces of their armor. As you see, these phantom warriors. Currently in this room, you can see 2, and let me go ahead and pull you all here, and hopefully it doesn't break. I tried to preload the scene, so hopefully for some people it won't take nearly as long.
Well, my foundry froze. Oh, there it goes. Spooky darkness.
So, yeah, River, yours is the one that I think might take the longest, because it is a little bit of a bigger map. So,
Yeah,
might just have to use the stream as an aid for the time being.
I'll do that.
Jesus, I just
I've got
zoomed
a
out to
map.
look at the whole map, and it's massive.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
no.
So, and that's okay, because as you get there, you see these enemies before you can decide what to do next. That's where we're going to go ahead and take our break. So that way, hopefully, in the time that we take our break, it'll be loaded for River by the time we get back.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So, yeah, you can kind of see them here where they're at, right? Let me zoom out of the map so all of you can get an
I
idea.
will say, I can't see enemies. I
Yeah.
just see like the
yeah,
rock
'cause
in front of.
they're not in your line of sight right now.
Okay.
Yeah, if I move them over a little bit here,
Oh, okay. Plus up.
they're just a little.
Now, okay.
Little
So
more
we're
over.
under the understanding that physical damage to these things, like, can we just naturally assume like it's not gonna like whatever that lost soul is? This is not their mortal coil, right? So if we like slay their physicality, their souls will be okay.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
that's a safe assumption. Yeah.
Okay, because
We're-
like the whole point is to save these people, not come in here and just like cut them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least these two in particular, it just seems like souls that are trapped, not necessarily.
He is trying to be knightly, damn it, and that's why he's concerned. He would rather free their souls than just be like, well, to the Shadow Realm.
I banish you. Yeah, no.
Okay, so he can make that like assumption, right?
Yeah, he definitely could. Definitely could.
Okay.
Alrighty. So with that, we'll go ahead and go to our break. So I'm going to go ahead and deafen Discord, and I will have, oh yeah, left click and drag to unselect any tokens that you may have been accidentally selected, like Blossom, perhaps. So I'll deafen myself, and then Kayla will let you guys know when we're right about to come back. Okay? All right. Deafened. And thank you for watching, and we will be right back. Please enjoy some previous session clips while you're waiting.
Is he all right? What is happening? What is going on with Ferdinand?
He is not all right. He opposed them valiantly, and then the silence took him.
Sayla looks
Back to Cyrus' house. Sorry.
Valid. Not going to deny that.
Well, when the it is chlamydia, it's not so nice, you know?
Gross.
Ew.
Okay.
Nah, Cyrus is a lucky dip.
All right.
Oh,
Oh, God. Okay, anyway, moving on. So,
Well, it's very beautiful. I'm glad you can, Twig. Feels good, doesn't it?
We are back. I don't know if that was caught at all, but I hope not. So, with that,
We're talking about bread again. Yeah, teacher.
I think
Fixation of mine.
that on that note, we should go ahead and dive in. And as is now tradition, to quote Tevye from Fiddler on
into each other. As I said, I have a feeling we'll be there presently. Perhaps let's go right for now. And by that, I mean
right.
left.
Wait.
is left to the sarcophagi.
East. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Ishima's right, but our left.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna... Y'all...
My head. Okay.
Wait, just say east.
Alright, we're gonna go stage right.
West!
We're going west.
Alright. Damn it!
Okay.
Right? Is that... Wait, oh shit, do I have it wrong?
That's, yeah, east is, if you're looking at it, like, on the...
I'm ready, by the way. But the main use of it I saw that was truly badass was one of the players used Force Cage, and then one of my other players used Silence. So they basically just trapped an entire group of guards in a Force Cage, and then started just shooting them from afar, and they screamed silently like they were in a void of space until they were all dead.
So cool.
And we're back.
Yep. They just...
Is there supposed to be music? Does anyone want music? No, okay. I'm just gonna eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Okay. Does anyone know? No. Does anyone know? We could do music. Music would be cool. I'd be very name day-y from music.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god.
The fuck is happening?
Yeah, that's
how
bullshit,
the,
Joe.
How the fuck
That's
does that
bullshit.
happen?
That's bullshit.
Do you still have inspiration?
You do!
Yeah,
You do!
use your Christmas
You do!
inspiration.
Use your Christmas
Use your
inspiration!
Christmas
You need to
inspiration.
use that inspiration. Oh my god.
I want to use the inspiration. That's bullshit.
You just roll the one, you just roll the one, you just roll the one. It gives you a reroll. It's like a point of luck.
I can't reroll both of them.
No, you can't reroll both of them! It's the normal roll.
Are you fucking kidding me? Joe, no. Throw it out. Throw it out. I call a fucking foul. A fucking call a foul.
So,
Yes, we're gonna attack
alas-
the Pretty Cove.
Does anybody else hear that fucking annoying sound?
What, your fucking voice?
Very, very funny. You slay me. But the buzzing. Just every
What
now
do you
and
mean
then.
buzzing? Of course it's fucking buzzing. We're in a forest, fuck's sake.
It's different. It feels like it's fucking everywhere.
Did not have all the ingredients of said cocktail when I made it.
I like blinks.
It's a metaphor. I'll tell you later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
You.
She's just gonna hold up her hands like, I'm
I-
sorry.
I did say I didn't promise any.
Oh wait, he has advantage because pack tactics.
Yes, he does.
That was sad. Okay, well, fuck you and give me my fucking strength saving throw.
The horn playing twice really sold that.
Yeah, it really did.
So this.
So, what's your, why are you happy?
I mean, why not?
I don't know. If we go, we don't know what we're doing. How would they know what we're doing?
Exactly. That is genius.
Gods, if you can hear me, I think we need your help.
Are we selling hash for fucking bombs?
Are we the buddies?
Her little personal pouch is gonna be full. You bet your ass, but she will still.
I am never going to be able to go back to my family in Ireland, am I?
Probably not.
I'm just not getting in the country anymore. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not a rock.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great day, Kyle. Bye.
Totally.
Dude, my name's Derek. Get out of my shade, man. And the spell ends there before that character needs to see the light of day ever again.
Awesome. So,
Does he know Clyde?
Sorry. No.
No, it's okay.
No.
I
think
deserve
you're
it.
great.
I'm a mess. I've had 2 years to write this paper.
2 years?
2 years.
Oh, Jinx.
Sayla's losing her shit. She's just fucking laughing in the corner, just so you know.
Referencing all of the sitcoms right now, but his hands kind of just start touching his face, and he's like, "I could make him a flying teapot.
A what?
You can?
I could try."
Okay, Desmond.
Try.
You will try.
Just, I think I would need some stuff.
Okay, So plan is walk back in.
This is really unnecessary, by the way, but we're doing it anyway. Misty step to come behind this guy right over here, and he whispers into his ear, "It's nothing personal, kid." And I'm gonna try to like Anakin Skywalker to
I'm leaving this campaign.
Anakin Skywalker to Count Dooku with both of my swords, just trying to lob his head off with 2 attacks.
Yasmin, I can
No,
make
but
you
I
a lock that you can try and pick lock or something, just to get
Found it.
just to get that out of your system.
Like a fucking fidget spinner.
I can give you a fidget locket or something.
Desmond's gonna kind of like look Poe straight in the eye and say, "Well, first of all, yes, please, but second of all, that's not the point."
We laugh now, but he like uses it to his.
Somebody's on top of her. Cole, you can tell she's so close to death. Like she's damn near like whoever's going. Minister James could have done something,
Well,
and it would have.
hold on, DM. I have the Mage Slayer feat. Did you say she's casting a spell?
Oh yeah.
Me, come get me. He walks over to his room, like opens the door, sees all the blood on like his sheets when that guy exploded, shuts the door.
All right,
Takes over to
everybody,
Cyrus's room.
We are back. Oh no. Okay, that's awkward. All right.
It's earlier.
Hello, we are back. Welcome back, everybody.
Sticky River out, by the way.
It's really awkward.
Multiple times.
Yeah,
I'll use the stream.
Yeah, I think that it's... Oh, wait. Actually, you know what I can do that will have less latency? Let me share my screen. Let me share the recorder screen. That way there's less latency. You don't have to worry about it as much that way.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Share your stream or share one of our streams. I don't know if you got DM stuff on it.
No, I have 2 screens pulled up on my end anyway, because I have like the one that's on stream and then I have mine. So I'm just using the same one that's on the stream. You just don't have it cut up nice and pretty for you. Yours is unfiltered.
Okay.
All right. So, with that, let me go.
Before we go anywhere.
Yeah.
Nalthea just wants to get one more vibe check on this lady before we move forward. Like, what is her reaction as soon as we step into the space?
Make an insight check.
What is my insight modifier? Isn't it 0?
You've been doing a lot of +0 checks where you're just
I know.
rolling the
I
dice.
keep forgetting. Hold on. Because I rolled an 11, but I don't think that's gonna be great. Yeah, 11, just straight 11.
Just straight 11, yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of confidence on herself because she feels like this is something that maybe she can handle now that you 4 are with her. But I mean, other than that.
Before we get too far,
yeah,
he's just gonna kind of say explicitly to her, but just kind of in general to everyone. All right, listen. If we're going in here, our goal is to help these people. Nobody take anything. Nobody touch anything that they shouldn't. Given explicit instructions not to be in here, and we're going directly against that. The goal here is to help these people, not to fuck around. Is that understood?
You're just nods.
What's she doing, Joe?
Oh yeah. So she would sort of nod and be like, of course, I had no intentions of taking anything.
Or touching anything.
Yes, of course. I had extended the offer to you just in payment, but if you don't need payment, then there's no need to take anything.
Right. Let's keep moving then.
Okay.
Just gonna keep going forward.
Alrighty. So... Oh. Sorry, wait. My thing's getting a little backwards here. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I just want to get all that straightened out. All right. So, in this moment, you have a small bit of time. Really, because this door is kind of like this one right down here, is kind of partially up, but the other part is kind of broken down and split in half. There's only enough room right here for one person to move through at a time. So, I mean, you can see that Velitha doesn't have any melee weapons on her. She just has the bow and the arrow. I know. All right. Now Fiend's doing it.
Sorry. He's just gonna approach so he can get a better look of the room.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and make a stealth check as you get closer.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah. That's a 15.
Okay. So... Yeah. All right. So it doesn't seem like they notice you as of right now, but you have a feeling that the moment that you step into the room, they're going to notice you.
Yeah. Okay. Nelfine's just gonna, like, kind of signal back to everybody that there are 2 things in here. And... oh, man. We're gonna have to fight these things, aren't we? Alright. He's gonna back away from the door. Oop. And he's also gonna summon Echo Nalf. Alright, we got 2 up ahead. How do we want to approach this? They're gonna notice us as soon as we step into the space, and if they're hostile, there's only one way out of it. And he's just kind of like looking to everybody in the group when he says that. No one in particular.
If they're gonna notice us right away, then we've just got to take any opportunity we have for a surprise, I guess. Is there any way to do it quietly?
I mean... Twig's a pretty, good shot. Kind of trying to smile at Twig to get her to at least look up. And our friend here seems like they know how to handle. Maybe if you both timed your shots well enough, at least get a surprise in on them before we rush into the room. What do we think?
We can do that.
I could just take like a breath, like, you know, just raising her shoulders and dropping it again, and she's just gonna actually look up for the first time since they've entered, and just give a nod.
Alright.
And she'll also summon her beast as well, land form, just to have it with her.
Nauf and Echo Nauf will just, as one, just kind of step out of the way for them two to kind of... Whoa. Did I just throw Nalfian through the wall? What happened?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Oh shit, okay, I was confused.
Look at Aura up now. I can't see anyone's token besides the spiritual beast.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, left click and drag, left click and drag. It's because the spiritual beast doesn't have any vision.
Oh. Just blind. Okay. Nelvis is gonna kind of step out of the way and let them through.
Okay.
He's gonna move up here.
Yuri is gonna squeeze kind of Twig's hand just before she goes. And she's just gonna very, very quietly say, "It's okay. We won't touch anything, we won't disturb anything. We're just gonna try and help them."
Still doesn't really change the fact we shouldn't be here.
I suppose. But we're doing a good thing.
Yeah, she'll just step up and I guess. Is there even room for them to, like, both be able to get ourselves lined up for a clear shot.
Well, each one of you could fire at one.
Yeah. But like, the plan's to do it like simultaneously, right?
Yeah. Both of you can easily do that. Yeah, you can just leave Echo Knife.
Okay. I think she was just asking if there was enough room to squeeze into the space.
Yeah, because I mean, if we're both taking a shot at the same time, and we're both gonna have to obviously line up shots.
So, like, where you are right now, you can see one enemy.
Okay.
Over here. And then where she's standing, she can see the other enemy that is standing right over here. So, yeah, both of you are...
And we're not going to be in each other's way. Okay,
No,
cool.
Yeah. You're going to be kind of doing a little bit of a crossfire, but it'll be okay.
It'll be cool.
Yeah. Alrighty. So with that, she will sort of lean back. And she will... There we go. All right. So she'll lean back and knock an arrow into the bow and begin to pull it back. And we'll wait for you to do the same. Knocking a bolt and getting ready to fire. And then both of you, count of 3, 2, 1, will shoot off your shots at the same time.
Watch these be terrible.
Yeah.
No, that'd be great.
Shots.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
why
like-
Nels was like, she's got it.
Okay, well, the first 2 rolls were both 6s plus. So each of those were... So first 2 were 13 to hit.
But with advantage, right? Because they are surprised.
Oh, was it with advantage?
Or am I wrong? Doesn't have to be.
Really
I just
cool
know.
if it is.
Let me... God, this is why I always hate surprised rounds. Okay, well, actually... Okay. Bop. Nope. Bop. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't give advantage. It's pretty much just a free turn in combat. So how it would work then is that we would roll initiative right now, and then everybody would get a free turn before the 2 of them fire off their shots. But when they fire off their shots, they would just be getting that free turn.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is what we'll go ahead and do, just because that makes the most sense and isn't nearly as painful to organize. So with that, I'll go ahead and right click and add everybody to the initiative order, except for this one, remove combatant, and this Nalfian does not need to be on the initiative order either. Okay, so I'd like everybody to go ahead and roll for initiative.
Because I got a nat 20 on my
19.
initiative.
Nice.
Would be real cool if that was for the attack, though.
That would have been pretty cool.
So that's a 38 for a twig.
Okay, twig.
Jesus.
Damn.
38. Nalfian is a 23.
23.
Okay. Blossom. Here, I think I can roll hers because I have her character sheet up. With advantage. 21. Look at that. Good old Blossom. All right. And then initiative. Advantage as well. That should be 17 for her. Okay. And then finally, Eurydice.
19.
Oh, wow. Look at these initiatives. Oh, wow. Oh, and that's a natural.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's a natural 20 for the Phantom Warrior here, so that'll be a 30. Whew. Damn. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and take our first round of initiative, where you guys are pretty much going into the surprise round. So with that, all of you get to take a round in the initiative before they start. So we'll go ahead and begin combat. And I was able to, hopefully it'll work. I guess we shall see, but hopefully it'll work with the turn thingo. I hope so. All right.
Oh yeah.
So with that, Twig, you're up with so your first 2 attacks.
Yep, both of those were a 13.
13. Okay, so sadly with the 13, those both attacks will miss. As you bring up the crossbow and fire, both bolts just fly off out of the way, slamming into the stone as you are just still not comfortable with being down here. And it's affecting you to a much greater extent than what you'd like to admit.
Okay, but she still has her second attack. Okay, thank God. Okay. So Nat 20's first thing's maxed, and then plus the extra die.
Correct. Yep.
Is that how you run it?
Yep. First damage die is maxed out. Then you roll the
So
additional.
it's a 17 damage.
Okay. 17 damage. So as you fire the bolt and it slams into the creature, is Twig's crossbow magical?
I mean, unless the Dowie artifact thing counts it as magical, no.
No. Okay. All right. So you can see the bolt go to slam into its form, but it just it doesn't have as much of an effect as you hoped it would. So it is going to take half damage from that. So 17 halves, 16, so that'd be 8. 8 points of damage. Okay. Bolt finally slams into it, and you can see it jam itself into the armor, and then eventually the bolt just kind of falls off of the chest as there's no blood or anything, any sign of damage on it.
Realizing that things probably aren't going as smoothly as I guess they would have hoped. Is she able to get her spiritual beast through everyone?
I'd say that getting it through these 3 people would be difficult terrain. Just because this is a very cramped corridor.
I mean, it is counted as a small beast.
Yeah, but it still has to, like, make its way through, so, I mean...
What you can is just half movement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd only be able to...
Sorry, Nalf's
No, I think I'll just have it off until, I guess, people clear through a bit. Otherwise, it's going to be first line, and it's just like it doesn't have many hit points, so...
Okay, alright. Sounds good. So then we move... well, this is still the surprise round, so this one, it just skips their turn, then we come to Nalfian.
Okay, seeing Twig's first couple shots miss, he's just going to immediately run out. Just as this third one hits. Shadow Elf's going to flop around, and immediately he is going to make an attack. My question for you, Joe, is I know the dagger is magical.
Yes.
But knowing what you know, is his sword magical, or no?
His sword is not magical, no.
Okay, thank you. That's all I want to know. Alright. Okay. 19 to hit.
Oh, that'll hit. Yeah, surprise round, they can't use reactions at all, so...
Oh, I was like, what? 19 doesn't hit? Okay, that was first attack, and that's 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage. Very cool. Is this with your dagger or with the rapier?
Well, he doesn't know that there's not an adverse effect, so he would just immediately, like, the way he fights, he goes in with Whisper first, so it would be his rapier.
Okay, so with the rapier, you can see it punctures fairly easily through the chainmail, but the creature doesn't really react at all, as instead it takes half damage, so 6 points of damage. So you can tell that it's not necessarily as effective as you would have hoped.
Alright, seeing that, normally when he would come in for a second swipe with Whisper, he is going to spin on his heel and flip the Dragon Tooth dagger around, and he's going to come in with that for his second attack. That's a 21 to hit.
21 to hit, that one also hits.
Yep. And that's with the dagger. It's 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage, very cool. Alright, so it will take those 9 points.
And then his last attack will be his, once again, his offhand attack. He'll just kind of swing back around. We'll spin. That is an unnatural 20.
That also hits.
my speed counting on my fingers. Now this isn't as easy because this is a +8 to attack instead of +10. That's another 9 damage.
Okay, -9 points of damage, and both those were with the dagger?
Correct.
Okay.
Those last 2 were.
Sounds good to me.
Knowing what he knows, Nalthea is going to kind of stagger back a little bit, reassess, and he's just going to shout back, Magic! Magic weapons only! And then just kind of like face this bitch down.
Okay.
That's true.
All right. As you shout that out, the phantom in front of you says, "Never should have come here." And
shut up.
we move on to Blossom's turn. It's so funny right now because the thing is like freaking out. Like the whatever like module I installed, which does a pretty nice job. It's just like moving the camera around a whole bunch, and I'm not exactly sure why. But let me give Blossom some vision because she's really a little disorienting. There we go.
And so is Blossom's sword magical? I know it has magical properties, I guess, to it, but it does say it's a magic weapon, so I don't know if that means the damage is, though.
Let's see here. I want to say the blade itself, its magical effect is based off of the wielder, not necessarily the blade itself. Because it's like, since it's like a blade of warning, like you're better at things, it's not necessarily better at killing things.
Okay. So non-magical then.
That's what I would believe.
It's okay. Because they have metal armor, I can see there, right? Actually, never. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, it's more, like, it's incorporeal. So, like, it is...
Yeah, nah, I'm not gonna...
Okay.
Different idea. Okay. Vicious Mockery, the one that Nauf's gone up to.
Okay.
So, Wisdom save. DC 15.
Okay, Wisdom save.
As I drop a wet dice.
Wisdom save. Wisdom. Saving throw. Looking at a 16.
A 16, okay. Okay, it's very safe with sock. Okay, so nothing happens, I guess.
Okay. All right. Okay, so as she tries her, or as they try their best to shout out some type of insult to bring that phantom down, they just seemingly aren't paying very much attention to what she has to say, to what they have to say. All right, and a Blossom's turn, you're ready to see.
They are having a little slight issue right now.
Oh, nice.
Because VTT audio is like going at the same time as the stream audio.
She can mute the stream, or
everything's frozen on their end.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess I can stop streaming this then. So then I suppose I can just we'll just come back to her then as we go to the Phantom Warrior who skips their turn, and then Velitha. So Velitha is going to do what she originally proposed doing, and she is going to go ahead and make...
River said they can Eldritch Blast. They'll roll and tell me.
Okay, all right. Go for it then.
Okay.
She can just see the one. So just 2 attacks then. And I'm going to do those as I do the 2 attacks for Velitha, just to kind of keep things moving.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I got a 15 and a 10.
Oh, both of those miss.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, River. Velitha rolled a natural 20 and a 22. So that's gonna hit. So that's gonna be 20. Oh no, shit, that's the wrong thing. Oh, but they do the same damage. Okay. So that's going to be, let's see, 23 plus 8, so 31 points of damage. But her longbow is not magical, so that is instead going to do 15. Okay. All right, that is the end of Velitha's turn. And we'll hop on up to Twig now. What to do?
I don't want to, like, go through all her spell slots, and I feel like none of them are really... Since they're all, like, hits. Unless... Okay, gonna try cast Entangle on... Wasn't there one here? Why can't I not see the token anymore? I selected... Okay, there we go. There we go. Gonna cast Entangle on the one that's over there. Seeing as they're very, like, melee, I'm guessing? I don't know. This is a guess. Actually, shit, no, because that's concentration. Never mind. I'll just, I guess, take 2 more shots with crossbow.
Okay. Also, I hope...
That is a 19.
19 hits.
Okay. And then that's terrible damage there. 5 damage.
So 5 damage reduced to 2.
And for that second shot, it's a 18.
18 hits. Mm-hmm.
For 10 damage.
For 10 damage. Okay, reduced to 5. Okay, so the bolts just litter inside this phantom. So 2 arrow shots, both slamming directly in, and then 2 bolt shots also, but seemingly having no effect on it. Doing damage, sort of whittling away that incorporeal nature as it begins to slowly fade a little bit, but still no stamina drained from it. Okay, now I'm also going to apologize in advance. Hopefully this doesn't kick you guys out. Hey, nice. All right, sweet. I'm going to have to refresh VTT on the recorder side real quick. It was just freaking out, so I changed the settings so the camera wasn't spamming up and down anymore because it was really... the camera was having a seizure, so I just wanted to help with that. Okay, alrighty. So then we go from Twig, and now we go to the Phantom Warriors.
We'll also say just the Spiritual Beast, it can't go that... Actually, wait, this movement is... Okay, yeah, there's something dirty. And so difficult terrain through tokens?
Yep.
God. Can I, like, get it here, but, like, says it's at the corner just so it's not, like, completely in the way of everyone?
Yeah, sure.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. So we can just go ahead and have that be, like, right... There we go. All right. All right, cool. Now we go to Phantom Warrior. This Phantom Warrior is going to move 5, 10, 15, 20. They're going to open up this door. And they are revealing here. You can see that they sort of look down the hallway, and there is just this coarse whisper, this... And it just reverberates through the hallways, and you can see Nalthian, you can see 2 entities looking down that way, as we're going to go ahead and add these 2 archers to the initiative order. So it's a skeleton, but that's not exactly correct. All right. Counter. All right, here we go. So initiative... Roll for both of them, hopefully. Did it add them? Sick! All right, added both of them. All right. Oh, wait, sorry. It needs to add. I need to roll initiative separately for the 2 of them. Not going at the same time. All right, 8. Man, this is a really high initiative. Like, everybody rolled except for the 1 archer above a 15. That's crazy. Alrighty. So that is going to be 15 feet, and then they're going to go 5, 10, 15 again, so they're going to get right about there. And they can't exactly. Well, actually, they would have been right here. So 5. Whoa. Oh, God. Hexes make everything harder to move. 5, 10, 15. So they're going to get right about there. 15 feet, 30 feet of movement. Nah. I like this though. All right. And you know what? It is just going to hold its attack for anything to come near it. Then Nalfian, we have your turn.
Okay, question. The echo is considered magical. So if attacks come from my echo, is his attacks considered magic?
I would say it's based off of the weapon. That the weapon would need to be magical.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
14, 19, 20, 21 to hit with his dagger.
That's a hit.
He does not do great damage with it. 8 points of damage for the first attack. I don't think that one's gonna hit. 16 for the second attack.
So a 16 would hit, but instead the skeleton or the phantom warrior is going to sort of bring up its sword and shield and block, and it's going to parry, adding 2 to its AC until the beginning of its next turn.
Okay. All right, then his offhand attack. 18.
18. Okay, so that does hit, just barely. As it parried, it had the higher AC, but now it's that's gonna hit.
Man, that's 6 points of damage.
6. So for 3.
How is this thing? How can I tell if this thing is looking okay or?
I mean, you can tell that both of them seem a little bit. The brightness and color that was there is started to dull a little bit, but it's hard to tell with incorporeal undead creatures.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm flanking. It's too late. I don't remember what my first roll or that second one that missed was.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So then we move to Blossom.
Okay, they're basically gonna do the same thing again, try and get a vicious mockery off on the one in between the mouths. So another wisdom 15.
Okay. Alrighty, sorry, I just realized that this is kind of doing a funny thing here. Okay, wisdom save 15. That's going to be a, let's see, 12 plus 2, so that's going to be 14.
Okay, so 6 damage, and it has disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Okay, sounds good. Alrighty, good to know.
Psychic damage, if that means anything.
Yep. It's magical damage, so it'll take full damage. All right, then moving on to Eurydice.
Okay. They are going to do a thing, which involves them moving into the room slightly, so they can see.
5, 10, 15.
Ooh. Okay, first Eldritch Blast. We got a nat. Oh, a dirty 20.
Okay.
Okay. And then they're going to go ahead and the first one's going to blast this one.
Okay. All right, so a dirty 20, that'll hit.
Okay. And then the second one is a 19.
19 also hits.
Yep. Okay. Oh, wait. We got to get that damage, don't we?
Yes.
The damage. This is the best way to do it. 13 and 10.
Okay, alrighty. So with 13 points of damage on that first one, that is enough to kill it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then 10, not enough on that one. Still alive.
That is it for them.
Okay, alrighty. So then we come to the archer down here. So this archer down here is just going to peek up the hallway this way. And Nalfian, it is going to make... Oh man, this is great.
Ooh. River also gets them temporary hit points, baby.
Does it work with undead creatures?
I will find out.
Okay, yeah.
Continue.
I'm not sure since they don't really have a life essence to steal, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull their stats up, but...
That's okay.
There we go. All right. So, Nalfian, you can see that these archers, you can see that their arrows are like incorporeal. They're also this sort of wispy blue, along with the bowstring, and you can see that as it pulls it up, it is, since there's no weight to any of it, it's very easy able to pull back and make multiple shots. They just don't seem to fire with the same amount of accuracy. So it is going to fire 3 longbow attacks against you, but they are not very accurate. So we'll see here. So we have a 10, a 12, and then a 21.
The 21 hits.
Okay. So that'll go ahead and be up. Okay, plus 3. So that's going to be 11 points of force damage.
Great.
Okay, all right, sounds good then. So yes, temporary HP. So then we will move from that Phantom Warrior, which is dead, to Velitha. So Velitha is going to move 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 35. And I guess they're just going to hold their action until a creature comes into sight.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because
they
she
can't see this one over here?
No, because it's kind of like blocking the... This boulder's large. Okay, I mean, she just can't see it.
All right, okay, all right.
It's cover.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much behind full cover from her perspective.
That's fine, for now.
All right, so then we have this skeleton right here, who's going to move right here, tucking up in the corner, and Nalfian is just going to make those 3 more shots against you.
All right.
I know, I'm very sorry.
Nah, that's cool.
I just wanted to... Okay. Alrighty. Longbow. Bop, 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 bop. So that is going to be a 13, a 19, and then a 14.
The 19 hit.
Okay, so that is going to be 8 points of force damage.
You got it.
All right, so then we come back up to the top of the turn order with Twig.
I mean, if Eurydice is still in the way. I mean, I feel like she's just I guess do the same thing as the spiritual beast was doing. Try and just like get to the doorway, but like not block it, I guess. And I mean, I'm guessing she also won't be able to hit the Phantom Warrior if
No, yeah, it's because of where it's
can't?
positioned. It's pretty much just got full cover.
Okay. Know what she can do. She'll still just hold a bolt just ready for whatever's peeking through.
Okay.
And I guess Spiritual Beast will just now it's got the other direction, so it will just travel along here.
Okay.
And yeah, also can't do much.
Okay, sounds good.
I guess it can it hold an action? I don't know.
Because does it?
Is that asking too much?
It does spiritual beast. It's just its own creature, right?
I mean, pretty much.
So then, yeah.
It says anything about it.
Yeah, it should be able to hold its action then, or hold an action.
Okay, well, it's just gonna ready to pounce on whatever comes.
Okay. Alrighty. So this Phantom Warrior here is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's going to make their way there. And is going to take the dodge action. All right, Nalfian, it's your turn.
All right. Okay, that thing's a bitch and is running away. Not cool. Malfi does not have the same amount of range as Alec does. Okay. He's also not stupid. So he's gonna take a step up here. And... Sorry, I'm just thinking.
It's okay. Hey, wait, Kayla, could you test something for me real quick? Could you move could you move, like, your screen just a little bit? Like, right-click and drag somewhere else on the screen?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's cool. So, on VTT, it's from your perspective. So, as you move, it's kind of like looking where you're looking.
Oh, okay.
Like whoever turn it is in combat.
I'm gonna move Nalfian here, actually.
Okay.
And...
How do you play like that? You're like bouncing all over the...
That's how I play.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm gonna move Echo now for right in front of this guy.
Okay.
And my attacks are gonna originate from Shadow Now.
Okay, sounds good.
Instead. Attack, 15,
oh man.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. 23 to hit.
23 to hit. Okay. 23, that'll hit.
Roll to attack here. I like rolling my attacks and then rolling my damage on. It's so much easier to do it that way. 7 points of damage.
Okay, and that's with the Dragon Tooth?
Yeah, he's just... figures that's the best way to do it.
Okay, yeah, and with 7 points of damage, that'll be enough to kill it.
Oh, good. Alright, oh, I think that was like all my movement. Yeah. To change weapons, that's like an action, isn't it?
Well, it's interacting with an object, so it is... On your turn, you can interact with one object, but the issue is you would have to stow your 2 weapons, and then on your next turn, draw your longbow.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's okay. That will be the end of his turn.
Okay, alrighty. So then we come to Blossom.
Okay, she's really far behind. So they might. Yeah. They're just gonna, I guess, dash up.
Okay.
And they don't have any bonus action ready hurts, do they? No. That is twig sheet. Okay. How bad was Nalf looking actually?
He's not awful. He's okay. He'll survive.
Then, never mind. They're just gonna dash up there and I guess brace themselves.
Alrighty, sounds
just get
good.
things moving.
So then we come to... Oh, Steam, get out of the way. Oh, friggin' Steam notifications popping up, getting in the way of the... Get out of here, Steam. Oh, alright. So we move on to Eurydice.
Okay. I can't see VTT, but I'm looking at straight. I already rolled Eldritch Blast and whatever. I put it in the Snapchat. So that was a miss and a 21 to hit for 14 damage. And I was gonna try and move up so I could see the archers.
Okay, yeah, let me... So...
if I have movement for that.
35 feet is what you have?
Yeah.
So 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 35... Well, wait a second. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, you could just barely see this one that's up next.
Okay. Then yeah, that'll be if a 21 hits, that'll be 14 damage.
21 hits. Okay, so said 21 or 13 points of damage.
14 damage,
14
yeah.
points of damage. Okay, all right, cool. Eldritch Blast fire slams into the skeletal archer. Anything else?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, alrighty. So then it comes to the skeleton, and this one is going to, let's see. Seeing Shadow Elf there, he's just gonna take 1, 2, and then 3 shots, whatever it takes to kill him. So 1. Oh shoot, that's the wrong thing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so against Shadow Elf, we have a 13, a 23, and a 13.
Yeah, the 23 hits.
All right, and then that's 7 points of force damage, which will be enough to... I'm just going to hide him.
Yeah.
And just drag him over into non-existent territory. And I'll drag him back whenever he's back. Okay, so then taking the... So then we'll just say that on the second shot, after it would have aimed at like Blossom or you, Nalthian, but it would have missed. And then it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And it's going to go deeper into this hallway here.
Of course.
You can hear another whisper shout. Okay. Then we come to Velitha. And Velitha is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. It's going to get right there next to Blossom. And is going to... Actually, no, she would get right there. So that way she has line of sight of the archer, and is going to go ahead and take those 2 longbow shots against the archer. Bop. Longbow. Okay, so that's a 19 and a 25, so both those are going to hit. So that's going to be 11 points of piercing damage, and 11 points of piercing damage, 22, so halved to 11. Okay. Alrighty, sounds good. So that is the end of her turn. Then we come to the skeleton right here. It's just going to return, and it's going to return 3 shots at Velitha. 1, 2, 3. Velitha's AC 16. Ooh, man. Okay, that is an 18, a 21, and a natural 20. Yikes. Okay. So that's going to be 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 8 is 20, plus 9 is 29 points of damage. Whew. Seen better days. Alrighty. I mean, she's doing okay, though. Okay. Alrighty, so from there, the skeleton will then do the same thing, and it'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And we'll go ahead and take a stand right there. Twig, we come up to you.
Okay, she's just gonna move up. And since there's nothing in line of sight, since there's a door there, she's just wanting to, I guess, try and listen to see if there's, like, I guess, more people behind it, potentially, or, like, anything like that.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check. You lean your up against the door, try and see if you can hear anything.
23.
23. So you do hear, fairly far in the distance, you can hear the sound of creaking armor and also rushing water.
Creaking armor as in, I guess, could she assume that that's, like, people moving, like, that are armored?
Yeah, probably closer. The warriors are more incorporeal. It just seems to be the archers that seem to be wearing armor. So you can maybe hear 1 or 2 archers behind this door. You're unsure of how far, but not necessarily right next to it. There's some distance.
Does it sound like they're, like, moving, or is it, like, just, like, idle animation, I guess?
Yeah, just kind of, like, idly patrolling. Haven't necessarily noticed any sound or anything like that yet.
Okay. Yeah, I guess not a lot she can do with that. I guess she'll probably just, since Now's right by her and not wanting to be too loud about things, just mention to him that there's more behind the door, but obviously not moving yet. And then we'll split which base is gonna just move up towards the door. Doesn't want to go in there alone, so
Okay.
well, we wouldn't let it, I guess, is the more accurate thing.
Yeah, it may be fully willing to go in there. In fact, it's rather excited. It's just mom isn't letting him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it does get like down and it's not like it's dead or anything, it just, I guess, poofs. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine.
Okay, alrighty. So then we come to this Phantom Warrior up next, who is dead. So then that means we come to Nalfian.
Nalfian is going to use this time to approach Valenth.
Veletha?
Yes. Veletha. Valenth is the name of one of my students' characters. NPCs. Okay. Valentha. And bonus action resummon Echoed now. And he's just gonna kind of look at her and he's just gonna say, "Where is this originating from? Can you take us to the center of the library?"
She just sort of looks at you and she says, "Yes, I can take you. I know exactly where the center of the library is. However, well, it's not exactly close. But we can get there. That's where all of this is originating from."
You can see him give her a very strange look. Like she said something that registered with him. And then he's just gonna nod and like gesture for her to show the direction.
Okay. Alrighty.
Which way is she pointing?
Down this way. Sorry, down the way. So how there's like this intersection down here, pointing down towards the water.
Echo Nalf is gonna move down here. He can go 30 feet. Jeez, I miss squares. I feel like hexes make things feel farther away. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, yeah, it's because you can't move diagonal and cheat anymore.
Well, I mean, it's what we've been so used to since like day one, but it's okay.
So, Shadow Nalfian, as he's like moving down there, Nalfian, he's able to peer through that hallway and sees the two skeletal phantasmal archers moving down, and he's able to see this like green, like incorporeal skeleton that is just kind of floating there, like above a pool of water, like book floating in front of him, just flipping through pages, but immediately stops looking up towards Shadow Nelf as our good old friend here, the Phantom Mage, is going to be joining the initiative order. As now that has been triggered. So, Phantom Mage on the 19 of the initiative. All right, damn. Everybody's killing the initiative today. All right, so that's what he sees, and can also see a little bit further down into this like stream of water that's coming down and heading south further into the library.
Gotcha. That's all he could do on his turn then.
Okay.
Actually, I lied. Shadow Nelf will ready. Actually, Shadow Nelf can actually just do something, can he? Then this is where he would have changed weapons here.
Okay.
Would he though? Sure. Go ahead and make 2 longbow attacks at the skeleton right here.
Okay, so yeah.
That one's gonna hit.
Easy enough. We can just say that because he swapped his weapons, like, you planned on doing that, you could have stowed it on your last turn and then drawn the longbow on this turn.
I mean, he rolled, that's gonna be a 12, which I don't think hits the first attack.
Yeah, 12 doesn't hit.
Alright, the next one is a 16.
16 on the skeleton, or on the archers does hit.
The longbow. Damage. Not good damage, just 6 points of damage.
6 points? Okay. On the top or the bottom one?
The top one.
Alrighty. Top one, so 6 halved to 3.
That's his turn.
Okay. Alrighty. So then we come up to Blossom.
Just a question for the others. Since there's corridors, and corridors aren't the greatest thing to try fighting through, do we feel it'd be best to maybe not go down them and try and, like, see if they come out to us? Or are we all planning to move forward?
That's a good point, because this is very much a choke point. And as soon as we step down here, like, Shadow Nalf, Echo Nalf would have told Nalf, and Nalf would have relayed to everybody else that we are going to be right in the line of fire of a more dangerous-looking creature down there.
And, because, like, is this corridor, will it also be... Oh, sorry. Will it also be the whole thing of, difficult terrain if, like, everyone's down there as well? Like, you wouldn't be able to move past people? Yeah.
Well, you can. It's just, it takes an additional 5 feet of movement for every hex that you're passing through with someone there.
I mean, we could try to lure them out with Echo Nalf down here.
Okay. I'm just asking before I make Blossom move anywhere.
Yeah, because I don't feel like it's super smart for us all to gather in one spot, because now we've just funneled ourselves for the dude down here. Because he is like, I know you guys can't see, but...
Yeah, I can't distract.
Yeah, in a relation of information, like, we're right in the line of fire. That's one fireball death right there for us. So, and like, it is like the most optimal position for that guy, and the worst position for us to be in. That's the information I have.
Okay.
It's very brave of you to share. Thank you.
I mean, he wouldn't hide it.
No, I was just kidding.
Okay.
Oh. Just check that real quick. Okay, so I guess with that plan going to move forward, Blossom will just stay, I guess, with a little bit of cover, but also a little bit of line of sight into the corridor, and they're just gonna have Vicious Mockery just held again for whatever's coming forward.
Okay, alrighty. Holding Vicious Mockery sounds good to me. So then we come to the Skeletal Mage's turn. Ah, yes. So, or the Phantom Mage. So the Phantom Mage is going to, let's see here. They have a movement speed of 30 fly speed. So they're going to go, let's see here. Yeah, okay. So they're going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then that is a bonus action. They're going to cast... Well, never mind. They can see... Sadly, they can see Shadow Nalf there. So as they're just floating down the corridor, you can see this bout of green flame conjure in its hand as it hurls it out towards Shadow Nalf as it's going to cast Firebolt. Ah. Oh no, is it not? Oh no, it doesn't let me cast it. That's not very nice. Wait, did it? No, it didn't. Okay. All right. Firebolt. Oh no, it's not rolling. No. Okay, here we go. Spell plus 6. So that's going to be a dirty 20 and it's 2d10.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That hits his AC, is Nalf's AC.
Yeah, 5 points of fire damage. Wow. Poor Shadow Nalf. Or not poor Shadow Nalf. Shadow Nalf can die in hell, but poor Echo Nalfian. He's such a good boy, and he's really getting put through the ringer this session. All right, that's the end of their turn, and we come to Eurydice.
Okay, so general consensus, do we want to wait until this guy just gets into our line of sight by himself rather than us running up to him? Is that what we want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
I'm just like, otherwise it's just me like a chasing match, honestly.
yeah. Okay, then can I get into a position where I can see down that corridor that he's gonna like turn up at the end of?
You'd have to get over here in one of these 2 hexes.
I can't see what you're pointing at. If you're pointing at something.
Oh yeah, jeez. Yeah, let me.
I got you, Joe.
Okay, you got it.
She could make it.
Okay.
Barely. She'd be like standing right next to.
Right behind the spiritual beast and Nalfian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, you could.
Okay, then I'll get to there, and then I will hold my 2 Eldritch Blasts for the moment anything shows up.
Okay.
That's it.
Alrighty, sounds good. So then we can come to archers. And I suppose then the archers will come. This one's going to go, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20 is going to peek his head out. So at that point, Eurydice, you would get your 2 Eldritch attack.
Dope.
And then Blossom would also get her held cutting words. Or not cutting words.
Vicious Mockery.
Vicious Mockery, yeah.
What's a with 15 on there? So they're
that's a 5.
Yeah.
Or a 4, actually. It's failure.
So then that is 5 damage and disadvantage on the next attack.
Okay, the 2 Eldritch Blasts were a 10 and an 18.
Okay, 18 hits.
The 18 hits, then that is 8 points of damage.
Okay, 8 points of force damage, sounds good. So it's going to peek out, and you can see that it's just disoriented. The first Eldritch Blast like slams into the stone next to it. It moves a little bit too much further out. Next one slams into its shoulder as just... Blossom, they say, I just want you to know that I'm not very proud of you right now, young man. As, the phantasmal skeleton just grows kind of sad and then knocks an arrow and...
Oh, he knows he's disappointed.
Yeah. Goes to shoot at... There's a moment where the bow comes up, and I'd say Nalfian and Blossom, you're able to catch it more so than Eurydice is. But where the bow aims at Velitha, but then the head cocks for a moment and then swaps to aiming at Nalfian.
Oh shit, this bitch is not going anywhere. Alright.
Oh.
Nalfian clocks that shit.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that skeleton archer, that's going to be 3 attacks against Nalfian, but the first one will be with disadvantage. 1, 2, 3. So the first one is a disadvantage. It's +5. Oh, well, good thing it was with disadvantage because that would have been a natural 20, but instead it's a 16, which I believe is a miss.
Yep.
And then a 19 and a 17.
The 19 hits.
God, what's your AC?
18.
Damn. All right. So with the 19, that's going to be 4 points of force damage. And then the skeleton is going to go 5. So it's 15, 20, 25, 30. And it's going to flatten its back up against the wall and get behind some full cover. All right. Velitha is going to... That's kind of awkward. She's going to move up here next to you, Nalfian. And she's going to knock an arrow, and she's just going to hold her action for an archer to approach. This one is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. Peek out. Velitha is going to take her 2 longbow attacks. 1, 2. Bop, bop. Okay, that is a... Jesus Christ. That is a natural 20 and a 24. So that is going to be 18 plus 8 points of damage. 18 plus 8 is 26, halved to 13. Bada bing, bada boom. And then it's going to go ahead and take... Once again, it's going to look at her, have a moment, and then it's going to take 3 shots at Blossom. All right. Bop, 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 bop. 1, 2, 3. All right. So against Blossom, we have an 11, a 17, and a 22.
Only the 22 hits.
Only the 22 hits? Nice.
Yep.
All right.
AC of 19, baby.
Hey. All right, so that's going to be 6 points of force damage. All right, back up to the top of the turn order. We have Twig.
Okay, we will just move up. I remember how to. And doubt she'll ever get line of sight on, I guess, the one that's moving out, but yeah, just be prepared to knock a crossbow bolt if anything's coming that you can see.
Okay, alrighty. Now, Fiona, it's your turn.
Move back a little bit. Just as
I'm gonna summon Echo now.
Okay. Where's he summoning? Just gonna just gonna kamikaze him, just summon him right next to the enemies, and then have him attack and then die again.
Yeah, actually, he is.
Oh, by the way, sorry. The skeleton only moved 25 feet, so it would have tucked back behind the wall.
Now Fionn actually gonna move to this side of the wall here.
Okay.
Kind of put his back flat up against it. Because Echo can only be 30 feet away from him. And which of these two look... well, actually, probably be at disadvantage with this guy anyway. So with that, with his crossbow aimed, he's going to take a couple shots at this one.
Okay, yep.
Oh, that's spicy. 19, 20, 27 to hit.
27, that hits.
Okay, longbow. Roll the damage. Roll the damage. Hold on, sorry, it's not rolling.
It's okay.
Why is it not rolling? Okay, what does a D8 look like? This. It's been a long time. Okay, let me just.
It's always.
I don't know why it's not working on D&D Beyond all of a sudden. 4 plus 9. 9 points of damage.
That's a damage. Okay. All right, 9 points of damage against that one. Okay, 9 halved to 4. Rounded down.
That was the first attack.
Okay. Second arrow.
24.
24, that hits.
Okay, this D&D Beyond's done rolling my damage for some reason. 4. Okay, and then it's another 9 points of damage.
Another 4. Okay, alrighty, sounds good. Alrighty, fire the 2 longbow shots, and then what's Shadow Elf doing?
Honestly, he's just gonna stay right there. Nalfian, however, is going to make sure that Valentha, whatever, is like within his line of sight in general, like at all times from this point forward.
Alright, sounds good.
That's his turn.
Alrighty, so then we come to Blossom.
I mean, worked pretty well the first time, I guess. So, just gonna stay it again with just having that vicious mockery prepared. I guess ready even.
Okay, alrighty. Then we come to the Phantom Mage's turn, so it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Shadow Elf, I'm so sorry. it's gonna shoot another firebolt at Shadow Elf here.
Valid.
So +6. So that is gonna be a 19.
It's gone.
And then okay.
It's alright.
Alrighty. Then that'll be the end of their turn. Then we come to Eurydice.
Okay, Eldritch Blast. I'll hold Eldritch Blast for the moment one of them peeks their head around, because I can't do anything else.
Okay, alrighty.
We're playing it safe, though. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then we'll move to the archers' turns, and there is a moment where you can hear some of those shared whispers from behind the wall. And you know what? It's going to move out 5, 10. And then Eurydice, you'll be able to get those shots. And then Blossom will also be able to get her thing.
21 and 19.
Both those hit.
Yeah. Wait, will they though? Because when I've got their token selected, I can't see anything.
Oh, you can't. Oh, that's right. Yep, she's just out of line of sight of that skeleton. Okay, all right. So go ahead and roll your
Ooh.
damage.
Okay, that's a 10 on both of the d10s, so it's 28.
Spicy, that's my girl.
28.
Fucking
Okay,
yeah.
that is a fair amount of damage. The bolts slam into the back of the skeleton's form. It is still standing just barely, though.
Oh,
disgusting.
As it moves out 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, as it's heading away from all of you. Then it is Velitha's turn. Well, no, actually, sorry, let's go back real quick, because it would turn around and it would take 3 shots at you, Eurydice, for having made the 2 shots into it.
Bitch.
Figure that only...
Nah, it's this brand.
Figure that only makes sense. No! I choose to run! All right, 1, 2, 3... Eurydice, that is going to be a 21, a 16, and an 8.
The 8 misses.
Okay, so then you take 16 points of force damage.
Okay, dope.
Yep.
You took away my temp. My temporary hit points.
Oh, poor baby. I'm so sorry. Okay, that would be the end of its turn. Velitha is going to just draw back and take 2 shots at the one trying to run away. So 1, 2. And that's going to be a 14, which misses, and a 25 for 10 points. Oh, shit. Okay, so that is still not enough. 10 points of piercing damage, half to 5. It is just barely standing as it continues to make its way down towards this lower portion of the library. Okay, then it comes to this skeleton's turn. This one is going to peek out. And Nalthian, did you say that you were like pressing your back up against the wall?
Yes.
Okay.
Blossom can also see them just before they start trying to make attacks.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Wiz 15.
Yep. That is a 3 minus 1 for 2.
Awesome. So they can go ahead and take 5 damage and have disadvantage.
All right, on their next attack.
Yes.
So then, yeah, they'll just go ahead and take these 3 shots at Blossom. Okay, so Blossom. There we go. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, so many dice. Okay, that is a 19, a 21, and a 7.
19 with disadvantage?
Oh, sorry. So that means the first one would have been a 21, and then the second one would have been a 7, and the third one will have been a natural 1.
Well, that first one hits.
Yeah. Okay. So that is going to be a that's just going to be 10 points, or no, 6 points of force damage. Sorry.
Cool.
Okay. Alrighty. So then, before we go to Twigs, it is also going to do the same thing where it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, heading down that way. All right. Next up, we have Twig.
So we're just gonna have crossbow bolt readied. Doesn't really want to move any more into, I guess, line of sight for when they're gonna be coming up. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nalthian, it's your turn.
Okay. Nalthian's gonna move right here. And summon Echo Dalf.
Okay.
It's gonna actually be right here.
God, it's so funny seeing like how each player interacts with like the virtual tabletop differently. Like Kayla, you zoom in and out so much.
Sorry.
It's so funny.
I gotta get a vibe as to what the hell's going on. All right, now he's gonna like press his back up against here. Echo now is going to just get up in this one's face.
Okay.
Having resummoned him, his weapon has changed again, and it is back to his dagger.
Yep. Okay.
Ooh, that's spicy. 11, 13, 14, 19. 19 to hit.
Okay, 19 to hit, and Nalthian's modifier is already high enough to kill the skeleton dead. So this first archer drops dead.
Great. Just go. 25. Scoot Snalfian just a little bit closer.
Oh yeah, get closer to that phantom mage.
Up. All right, second attack on this one. Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20, that'll hit.
Okay. I don't know why D&D on test stopped rolling anything. Damage die. What is his dagger tooth? The D4 plus 5.
Oh, this one. Oh, I can see it on here.
Did it roll? Oh, it's 6. Okay, yeah, that one did roll.
Yeah, it's in the game log.
Okay, that's weird. Was it showing up on my phone? Okay, then 6.
Okay. 6 points of damage. Very cool. And then he's got the third attack, right, with the light weapon
Correct, his
bonus
offhand.
action. Yep, offhand.
Ooh, but I don't know if that one hits. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14. That's a 15.
15 will hit. Yeah, the armor that they have on is not very thick, not very good.
Okay, 9 points of damage on that one.
9 points of damage on this one. Okay. Alrighty, it's still hanging in there. All right. With that, we
This
move
may have been a mistake.
we move to Blossom. Well,
Okay.
only time will tell.
Nalf is at half health, and there's a mage around the corner. It's fine.
Nalf is at half health, you say it?
Yeah, he's at 38 out of 61. I mean, he's okay. I'm just a little nervous. But it's okay. You do you.
I mean, one thing is, healing word is a bonus action. It's not much,
Oh.
but I feel
Hey,
like
man.
it's-
I'll take
I
it.
feel like they're not even going to be able to get up to Nalfian anyways.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They will move forward
Jesus,
a little
Gemma.
bit, I guess.
God, you headbutted the screen. That was crazy. You zoomed in
What?
so hard. Yeah, on my end, you like zoomed out and then zoomed in really fast.
I literally haven't zoomed in at all, so that's kind of weird.
Oh, it's because everybody can control Blossom. That's why. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
So that means whenever one of you move, it moves on my screen.
Okay, well, no one else move.
It's too funny.
And
Best module ever.
and they will cast Healing Word at 3rd level. Why not?
Oh wow. Okay.
And well, they haven't used any of those slots yet, so 4 plus
Checks out, yeah.
37. So 7 plus so 11 total. You're healed back up.
Thank
now.
you. Appreciate it.
And can they cast a cantrip if it's their action?
Yep. They can.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
Well,
a bonus
then,
action, and
Vicious
you
Mockery.
can cast a spell as an action. If you cast another spell or a bonus, it just has to be a cantrip.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
you can have one leveled spell and one cantrip per turn.
Yeah. Yeah, so they'll just have Vicious Mockery readied again.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that, we move on to the Phantom Mage. The Phantom Mage is going to float down towards you, Nalfian, and is going to get eye to eye with you, and is going to look down the hall, and is going to look towards Velatha. And does anybody here speak? Does anybody speak Draconic?
No.
No. Okay.
It's a note from Twig and Blossom as well.
I do know that obviously, Nalfian and Eurydice both speak Elvish. Does Blossom or Twig speak Elvish?
Twig does not. Blossom does not.
Okay. So, Twig and Blossom are left out of the blue on this, but Eurydice and Nalfian, you can both hear this skeletal, this phantom mage look up and look towards Velitha, and in this odd, like, mixed, like, harsh consonants and, like, runic, arcane tongue combined with certain elements of Elvish, sort of the two melding together, you can hear them say something that would pretty much mean traitor. And you can see them sort of like draw lines in the air and connecting these arcane patterns and melding together this bolt of energy in its hand. And it is going to...
if it's doing attack things, Blossom will have her vicious mockery.
So yeah, but she would have been able to use that anyway. It'll just do damage as this is a saving throw, not an actual attack.
Okay.
Ew.
Well, it will be...
All the things AoE, right?
Yeah, it's going to be the spell Lightning Bolt, as it is going to shoot out. And Nalfian, you're just kind of like a bystander to this moment, as it's going to shoot out and it's going to hit Blossom, Velitha, and Nalfian. So I need those three to make dexterity saving throws.
Question.
From Blossom.
Never mind. I don't think this will work because it's a saving throw.
What were you gonna ask?
Can I use his Dunamatic Stuttered right here?
Yeah, sure. I'll let you use that and pretty much re-roll if you fail the...
No, he's not trying to do it to save himself. So I'll hold on to it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, well, I rolled a nat 20, so I'm not mad.
Okay. Velitha rolled a 21, and then Blossom, what did she roll?
An 8.
An 8. Oh, Blossom fails. So Blossom is going to take full damage. That's rough. All right. Lightning Bolt. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to... There we go. Drop that in VTT. And then that'll be 8d6 lightning damage.
Ooh.
Alrighty. So, that is going to be... What is math? Okay. So that will be 28 points of lightning damage to Blossom and 14 to Nalfian and Velitha.
Blossom ain't looking too hot. Oh, okay, yeah, they've only got 9 hit.
Oh, man.
How the mighty have fallen.
What was the damage again?
28 points of lightning damage.
Yeah, that checks.
So, you can see that, and Eurydice, this is something you notice, and Twig, you might notice as well, that as Blossom is hit and takes a lot of that damage, you can see that there is this sort of like a blackening to the skin of just like the charring from the intense heat from the electricity, and small bits of scrapes of just sort of like blood maybe leaking from maybe her nose or her cheek or just something like that. And one thing that the two of you notice is that while Velitha is injured, right, her skin is maybe a little bruised and her, it's charred in some places. Any place where there would be a cut where it should be bleeding, there is no blood. That's just something that you notice, especially after such a big hit like that. Okay. With that, Eurydice, it's your turn.
Okay, so seeing this mage come around the corner and cast that, Eurydice is going to fireball, like, behind him, so it's not gonna hit Nalfian, hopefully.
Okay.
So I think I can do that. And then the damage, if I can do maths, is gonna be... Well, he has to make a dexterity saving throw as well.
Okay. Dexterity saving
But it's gonna be... I'm gonna use my calculator because this sucks. It's 86.
I know, it's a lot. All right. Oh, Jesus. dexterity saving throw. That's 5. Okay, so that's going to be a 22 on the dex save.
A bitch. Okay. Well, that's still... It rounds down, doesn't it, when you half it?
Yep.
That's still 17. So I rolled 35.
Okay.
It takes 17 fire damage.
Okay. And then as a reaction, he's going to cast Absorb Elements at the 2nd level to absorb 2d6 of it.
Oh, you...
So it's going to reduce it by an additional 5, so he's going to take 12 points of fire damage.
Was the archer as well? Are they both dead?
Oh, yeah, the archer. Well,
Round
how much
corner.
damage was it again?
35.
35. Okay, so even if the archer would have succeeded, the archer is still dead. So unable to make its way further down.
Okay. Okay. And then I think Yuri's just gonna kind of look at Velifer.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just gonna look very confused because she obviously understood.
Yeah. And she'll look up to you and respond in Elvish and say, I am sorry for the deceit. I will explain. And with that, she's going to knock an arrow and she's going to pull it back to her cheek. And you can hear her whisper in Elvish, pointing the arrows at the Phantom Mage. I am sorry, brother. And is going to fire 2 shots. Okay, so 2 longbow shots. And on both of these, well, on the first one, she's going to go ahead and use her Archer's Eye ability, where she's going to use add an extra d10 to the damage. So first one was an 18 for 10 points of damage, and that's going to be 7 on the Archer's Eye, so that's 17. Second longbow shot is 11 points of damage, so 17 plus 11 is 28. Takes 28 points of damage. Whew. Okay, yikes. So, oh, well, no, it takes 14, sorry, because of the, it's halved and her longbow isn't magical. Okay, so, you can see both arrows, Nalthian, fly right past you, slamming into the incorporeal form of this Phantom Mage, dealing damage to it, but not nearly as much as you could tell, especially somebody trained in more dexterous weapons, that it should do to most creatures. Okay. So, then we come back up to Twig.
I mean, I feel like she's able to realize that there's someone down there now.
Correct, yeah.
So, she just wants to...
Oh shit, yeah. Echo Nalf would have died in the fire.
Oh, sorry.
Poor guy. Just can't catch a fucking break.
Pickle just step out, I guess, past Yuri for a hot second, and take... Actually, quick thought. I can find things, okay. Okay, and she'll just take 2 shots at the mage thing, but I realized I forgot that Twig has lightning bolts, as in, like, you know, bolts of lightning. And so she'll be using those, but just a clarification for them, because, like, it's not on her D&D Beyond sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And then on, like, the VTT thing, it just has that it's, like, 1d6 lightning. Is that on top of the normal damage the bolt would do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's chill, just to let me clarify.
Yeah, because in my head, it's like
so she'll take...
the bolts firing out deal, like, the 1d8, and then, like, the force of the
Yeah.
crossbow, and then the bolts deal an additional.
Yeah. So she'll take... Ooh! She'll take, 2 shots at it, and that first is a nat 20, which is nice.
Oh!
And then the second is a 12, which is less nice.
Okay. 12 doesn't hit. But the natural 20 does. And this would deal full damage because it does count as magical, because the bolts are magical.
Miss. And so would that lightning damage also be maxed out for that first die?
Yep, correct. You got it.
Okay. So that's a 14 plus 7 plus... So 14 plus... I can't do maths. 14 plus 11... 26. 25. There you go.
25?
Yes.
Okay.
25.
Alrighty. So with that twig, as you bring up the crossbow bolt and fire, 25, the bolt slams in, and there's a moment as it impales into the chest, you can see the skeletal mage the phantasmal mage look down at its chest as the bolt embeds into it, and then there is this discharge of electric energy, almost this karmic retribution for this creature as it just it explodes in lightning energy, tearing apart the essence of this skeletal mage, this phantasmal mage, as that is enough to kill it dead. As it drops down dead, all of the enemies around you seem to have been neutralized. And with that, after 7 rounds of combat, we exit.
Nalfian immediately is going right up to Valencia.
Velitha.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't say her name.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
He still has both of his weapons drawn, I will say. He's not, like, putting them in her face, but he has a very tight grip on them. And he's immediately going to say, okay, so are we going to be talking truth now, or are you going to say more lies?
Yes, I will say the truth now. I'm sorry.
You made us risk our lives because you lied.
At the base of it all, the truth is what I said. At the base. The people who are down here, they are trapped. They are cursed down here, and I wanted to break them free.
This is the same shit you spewed only hours before.
It's true, it's just that the details are more complicated than that. And I thought that if I told
Don't care what you thought. Give me the truth now.
What happened?
What happened was, Twig, you were right. She lied to us. That thing back there spoke directly to her, and she also referred to it as, what, your brother?
It's a...
None of those things were taking shots at you.
Yes, but I was taking shots at them. They are...
The truth, now.
The truth. Yes, you are right, the truth. I'm just giving you fair warning that the truth sounds like a lie, but... I am a native to this island. I was born here, and I was raised here. At the height of the Altenian Empire.
Insight check.
Make an insight check.
15 straight.
15 straight. Yeah, it's hard to believe, but she seems genuine as far as you can tell.
Nalfian just has a very cold expression on his face.
I was born right near the collapse of the Empire. My memories are hazy. I was raised under fear and anxiety. I have been living on this island for a very, 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 very long time. I am the only one of my people that did not have the curse fall onto them to the same extent.
And what exactly is this curse?
I'm sure when all of you arrived, you were confronted by the lizard folk, yes?
Correct.
During the Empire's reign, there were only 3 types of humanoids allowed on the island. While its stretch as a nation was vast and expansive, on the capital, this island, there were only 3 types of creatures that were allowed. Elves, like myself, or like you, or even high elves. Just full-blooded elves, dragonborn, or lizard folk. This city used to be a massive library. It was a place where Ayun entrusted her most valiant paladins to keep the darkest secrets of the world safe. The Dragonborn whittling in numbers while the rest of the world grew around them. They thought that they could only trust a certain group. And they saw elves as the group to carry on their legacy. They saw us as those who would take their place when eventually Bahamut and Tiamat grew tired of fighting. Then there were the lizard folk. The lizard folk were as I have come to understand that they were, as the Dragonborn called them, indentured servants. But as the elves saw it, they were slaves. We wanted to allow them to leave the island near the end of the Dragonborn's reign. The Dragonborn disagreed. They said that they were too dangerous to be left out of the city, left off the island in general. You see, lizard folk have an incredible ability to adapt to the size of their surroundings. Let free to roam, explore, and consume, they will grow to be the size of ships stalking the ocean. They also breed rather quickly. They were seen as dangerous, if not kept under close and careful eyes, and they could do whatever they wanted. They could consume and keep consuming. However, from what I could gather, because I was very young when this was all happening, my ancestors, at the time, they thought that they could stop them by creating a disease that was spread to the lizard folk to make them almost completely infertile, slow the breeding rate, and control the growth. What my people thought was a good idea ended up backfiring. The Dragonborn found out, and they grew incredibly angry. Infighting began. Civil war within the city. I had to learn how to hide, as very early on I lost people who were very dear to me. And while that fighting was happening, both sides were too blind to the growing lizard folk. While this curse had stifled their ability to breed and their ability to grow, it did other things to them. it allowed certain members of their species to be in tune with the same magics that we had learned to control and manipulate, fueling their hatred and anger at the Dragonborn and at the elves. They struck back. They fought within the city for years. The empire of Altinian collapsed. Now there's only, I can presume, small pillars or monuments left. And, well, the lizard folk cursed the elves for what they had done, not allowing them to join the ancestors, to enjoy the afterlife, cursed to wander forever.
And you chose to not share this information with us, because why?
Because it sounds ridiculous. It sounds more like a lie than what I said. And I do want off this island. I do.
You know, I've quickly learned that the truth is the truth for a reason.
You are right. I do not disagree with you. I thought it was in my best interest to tell you that I was just a lost traveler. Because the final thing that you should know is that while I was born after the initial curse of the island, destined to forever be a wandering soul, the curse still had an effect on me. While I look healthy and spry and young, I've done my best to count the days, but sometimes I just get lost in the time. It has been some 1,200 years since that moment. And under normal circumstances, I should be dead, but she kind of laughs. I already am.
So tell me, is there a way in here that we can actually help? Or was all this for nothing?
No, you can help. I just knew that I couldn't do it by myself. You see, there was, a magus, who was the one in charge of creating this sickness, this illness that was given to the lizard folk. And instead of trying to retaliate against them, they instead spent their time hoarding the knowledge that is on the island, hoarding the magical items that were on the island. And they had done so down here. All of the souls that were trapped, there is a container, a vat, if you will. I was able to see it once, and I was almost caught. But I know that I couldn't do it by myself, and I don't know how that Dragonborn is alive. And I figured that if he saw me, knowing that there's no way that I could have been some stranded person, and she kind of gestures towards the tattoos on her arms. These are birthmarks of my people. The only reason I thought that I could trust any of you was because of, well, she looks to you, Eurydice. They are not the same, but I had always heard of other elves who were kissed by the light.
Funnily enough, I thought I could trust you too because you had them, and that was a little bit of a mistake for a second there. Yeah, they're not the same, but you really should have told us. I know it seemed like we wouldn't believe it because it's such a weird truth, but you were giving us the option of coming and helping, and then you made it sound like we could decide, but then you didn't give us all the information. You changed it, so we weren't deciding. We didn't have all the information. That's not okay.
At the end of the day, the truth was still there. These people need help. They are trapped down here. Regardless of who I am, that is still the truth.
Right. We'll help these people. But from this moment forward, don't lie to us again.
I won't, and I apologize for doing so. You have to understand, it's been a very long time since I've even interacted with anyone who didn't try to. Who didn't try to kill me.
You said you know where these things are, the way to this vat, right?
Yes, there is a small stone pathway that had been broken down. You have to follow the river. There is a large lake, and then making your way around, there are two separate ways. One gives you more cover to the vat. The other one is a little more open, but faster.
How many of these things are in here?
I don't know.
If they see you, you communicated with the last one. You think maybe you could say something? Get them to not attack us as we make our way through.
Well, that is the biggest problem is because I haven't joined them in their curse. They think that I, somehow, a toddler at the time, did this to them.
Right. It wouldn't hurt to have you near the front, though. It seems as though some of them second-guess themselves before taking the shot. But we're wasting time. The longer we're here, the longer Banrid doesn't know where we are.
You're right.
I understand. But we don't have time. We need to keep moving.
I will say one last thing. That near where the vat is, there is the vault where the magical items were kept, and the most valuable books are there as well. I know it means very little, all things considered, but these artifacts in part belong to my people. I feel as though I'm the only one who's in their right mind right now, so I do think that it's only fair that for the trials and tribulations you've gone through, that if you would like, you may use the information you find, or take things if you'd like.
We can discuss that when we get there.
Very
Right
well.
now, we need to help your people. It isn't about the payment, it is about doing what we came here to do. You can see Nalf like blink for a second. Like, did I just say that? Okay, yeah, I guess I did. Let's just go.
Okay. Now, I will say, there might be a way to move through here that will take a little bit longer, but it will avoid more potential threats. I'm assuming... I don't know how good of an idea it is to move through large open areas. Especially since that's what these ones were seeming like they wanted to do.
Hey, just lead the way. We're behind you. You know this place better than we do.
Very well. And they step forward.
But don't forget I'm right behind you.
I know.
It's only kind of a threat.
Okay. So with that, she will make her way down here and into the water over here. I'm gonna move all of you. Bow, bow. There we go. So you do step over these like sort of glowing runic things on the ground, like carved in there, and you can see that there are certain metals that are inlaid inside the circles, and they're currently shifting this sort of like light yellow to dark, deep orange color, providing some illumination in the area. But she will move over this way. Oh, that's weird. Token, does she not have vision? Oh, no, she doesn't. Okay.
I accidentally clicked off of Nalf.
Whoa! Alrighty. So I'm gonna move you guys in here. So she'll come here, and then she will go down here, and she'll peek around the corner, and she'll sort of look to all of you and sort of signal that there's one enemy down the hallway.
Is it facing us?
No, it's just kind of like idling back and forth this way. Back and forth down the hallway.
I'm gonna try to take it out.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to roll for that. My plan is to go behind it and give a little snippy snap. Skeleton go crack.
It is like half skeleton, half incorporeal. So
Oh, so you're telling me there's no neck to snap?
not really, no.
Can I put a silencer on my Eldritch Blast?
Hell yeah.
What I will say is that you could just make your 3 attacks with your dagger, and if that's enough damage to kill it, then we can just flavor it as one quick attack.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth check for me, just creeping up behind it. And then Velitha will go ahead and she's going to knock an arrow just in case things don't go super well for you, my dude.
I need to see what my modifier is. It's a steal. Skills. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, it's +8, and I rolled a 14.
Okay, 22. Nice. Okay, so.
Okay.
Yep, you're very easily. Yeah, no problem. You're easily able to get up right behind it.
Okay. Oh, okay. That is a fucking natural 20 for the first attack.
Okay, nice, 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 nice.
Okay, let me go back to my dagger. So I want to roll the fine hand damage for some reason. Oh, there it goes. That's 9 for the first one. Oh, well.
Remember, don't forget to max out the damage die.
I don't know how to do this again. Remind me?
So, with a crit, you would typically roll the damage die twice. But what I rule is that the damage die the first time is just maxed out. So it would be just 4 plus your modifier, which is 5, so 9, and then you roll an additional d4.
Okay. I rolled a 1.
Okay, so 10 points of damage on the first one.
Delightful.
Got it.
Okay. Okay, well, the second attack is a 3 plus 8. That's an 11.
11 misses.
Okay, that is a 12, 13, 14, 15, 19. Unnatural 20.
Okay, that hits.
Here. I don't think I'm doing enough to kill it. That's 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage, okay. And then Velitha will go ahead and make her 2 longbow shots against it, using her Archer's Eye ability. Actually, she'll use her Archer's Eye ability, and she'll also use Sharpshooter to take -5 to the hit, to do an additional +10 damage if she hits. So that's a 29 on the first one, which would be 24 instead. So that's going to do 10 piercing damage plus the 6 from the Archer's Eye, which is 16, plus an additional 10 from the Sharpshooter. So that's 26 on the first one. And then a 19 to hit, which is 13 points of damage, which is still not enough to kill it. So with that, now Fianit sort of turns its back.
You want to have that silencer on?
Do you want to do it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Watch these miss. Watch it be awful.
Just sneeze as you cast it, because that'll cover up the sound that it makes, right?
Oh, yeah, okay. That's a 20 and a 21. It's not natural.
Okay, nice. And then roll your damage.
That is a 13 and a 10.
Okay, all right. So with that, 23 points of damage. That is enough to finish it off. So
Eurus is like, duck, and then just like shoots over
Oh yeah, Nelf will definitely like duck down.
Bolts fly.
He's a tall boy.
It sort of slams into the back wall, clattering and eventually dissipating into the background. And Nalfian, you can hear, coming from down this way, a sort of hissing noise. It sounds very similar to one of the other skeletal mages that you already confronted. Just this... Who is there?
Okay, he's gonna take a step back and look at Valitha, right?
Velitha.
I can't. My mouth doesn't make these words sound. Velitha, and like quickly say, "Shut up!" Quickly say, "Your mother should have named you something different." That was mean. No, he won't say that. He's a good knight. He'll say, really quickly, "Which way?" Hurry.
She's going to like point down the direction where the skeletal mage was coming from.
Not the other way.
He's going to give her a very dirty look.
And she's going to say, listen, we can go down to the water in the open air where there may be more things, or we could try and just get the drop on him.
Let's just go. Let's move. Everyone. Fate's heading out. Okay, are these big stones right here?
Yeah.
But they're climb over.
Yeah, you can climb over them.
Okay, well now Fate's gonna like wave everybody down carefully. And again, we're in these clutch points.
You can
Does
see.
this creature see me?
Well, you can see that while it can't see through the stone, you can see it just kind of beginning to phase through. Like incorporeal, it's able to phase in and out of the walls. And you eventually see it disappear into the wall.
Oh, that's good. Running into Eurydice.
okay.
Problem.
What's the problem?
Yeah, I lost it.
How did you lose it?
In my defense, it disappeared. Entirely.
It went down the corridor, it just poofed into air?
No, I think it's coming this way.
Oh. That's great. Okay.
I mean, I'm not an expert on these things. It's not every day I fight ghosts.
No. So do we want to wait for it to come back, or do we want to just get moving?
Nop's gonna like look over his shoulder. If it was heading this way, maybe we should just move into the room. But quickly. Because there's a lot of stones that we're gonna have to climb over. But I think it opens up past, and I'd rather fight that thing with more room. So I think we need to move, and we need to move now, and fast.
Okay. Yep. And I guess we're gonna shout out to everyone to like, well, not shout, but like,
Hey,
be like, "Let's go."
everybody!
No, we're not shouting. We're just be like, come on, let's go.
Okay, Yuri can't move, so Nop's gonna grab her hand.
Thanks.
Come
Sorry,
on.
I can't.
No, it's okay, I gotcha.
Thanks.
All right, so as all of you make your way down towards the stone, all right, calm down, Nalfian, calm down.
Sorry.
As
We're
all
moving
of you
too
get down
fast?
here, yep. Sort of in your little squiggly line here. I'd like all of you to go ahead and make stealth checks as you're trying to quietly move through the stone before the creature comes back through the wall.
Yep, that's not gonna go badly in any way.
Maybe make one for Blossom too, or
Oh, here, I can make Blossoms just because I have her character sheet pulled up. Stealth. Oh, well, that's good. She doesn't have disadvantage. Medium armor.
Why they can't roll stealth, but that's an 11.
Oh, that's a natural 20 from Blossom. That's 33.
Holy shit, Blossom.
Killing it. 18. Okay. So 2 successes.
I'm pretty sure my mod. Yeah, okay, that's an unnatural 20.
Okay, and that's 3 successes. And then what's Twigs?
Oh, she had 11.
11. Okay. Luckily. Using does the spiritual beast make a? Because it's also traveling with you.
Probably would.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nat 20.
Oh, hey.
Fires.
Oh my goodness! Everybody's rolling nat 20s. All
I think this is the third one I made this session. Like,
This is crazy. Yeah. This is the gift that it's giving back. After not playing for so long and after being such a bitch when it came to tech stuff.
Guess we'll just have to play for 3 more hours.
Okay.
Continue? Huh?
So,
Who said that?
as all of you are making your way down through the corridor, Twig, as you are near the caboose there and just sort of hanging out at the back, sort of the last person to go through, looking behind you, you can see that skeletal mage appear on the other end of the stone, but seems to not know that all of you are over here as you make your way into
stupid fuck.
The
I'm just kidding. It's smart.
What was that?
No, he didn't say that. That was Kayla. That was what a character.
Okay.
So it's not the way that we move as a group, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like moving. Okay, so you make your way in here, and you can see that there are several books and scrolls and papers that are sort of scattered amongst the table, and one of the things you can see on this sort of elevated area right here, it is a solid piece of stone that is sort of on this raised wooden platform, and you can see that on the stone wall behind it there are these different arcane runes and symbols that give off this very dull, faint glow. And then sitting on top of this almost like pedestal near this table for some type of magic work, you can see a dagger sitting on top there. And you can see the dagger, the blade is exposed, the hilt is right next to it. And you can see the blade has this sort of serrated edge to it. It has a golden hilt and pommel with what looks to be a an emerald in the pommel of the blade. As you can just see it sitting there, and it just lives and breathes magical energy. On top of that, you can see a ring sitting on this desk right here that seems to do the same thing. Just has this great amount of magical energy reverberating off of it. And can see that it is a bronze ring, and it seems to not be it's not very gaudy, but you can tell that there are these small runes etched into it and sort of inlaid with silver.
Man, Joe, why you gotta do these things?
See a ring and a dagger. Both very
I feel like
obviously
this is a
magical.
trap. I feel like this is bad. I feel like this is not safe.
Valentha?
But I also want to look at the ring.
Valethia? What is her name again?
Velitha! Velitha!
Velitha.
Have you not got this yet?
Velitha, yeah. Velitha.
It sounds as it reads, so it's like
I know,
I'm
but
struggling.
Blossom was covering her name, so I
Yeah,
couldn't see it for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, you can hover over it.
Like I said, I have a student who has a NPC that has a name that's very similar, and I only think of that when I see that name. Okay.
It's okay.
Valentha. Now
Velitha!
this is gonna like
With an E!
Velitha. Okay, Jesus Christ, guys, my mouth doesn't make this sound. I'm
clearly
sorry.
do. You just don't want to make them.
I'm fucking trying.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm just not gonna call her by her name. I'm just gonna be like, hey, lady with the hair.
Call her Undead Lady.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll get on with that very well. Velitha.
There you go.
Jesus.
Proud of you.
I don't know why. Okay, thank you. I mean, now what is she doing? Like, now Fionn's not gonna just be like, all right, guess this is mine now. Like,
no. If you look back to her, she will say, I don't think taking them would be a problem, but I would say before you even think to put them on, to have them looked at arcane to make sure that they are not cursed.
maybe you should take them first then. They are your peoples after all. And just hold on to them.
Okay. And she'll pick up the ring and she'll tuck it into a pocket, and then she'll move over to the table and she will pick up the dagger, and you can see as soon as she picks it up, there's this... Oh. She kind of stops for a moment and she puts it into the sheath and she kind of tucks it into her sash. So it's just kind of like setting there right now.
Mm-hmm. Which way?
Further down. This way.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
So down this way. And you can hear Nalthian as you get to about here. Just excuse me while I take control. You can see peeking around the corner, there is another of those phantasmal mages that is just sort of soaking in the water, just kind of floating, and doesn't seem to pay any attention to you as you move through.
I don't want to interrupt him on his nice little bath.
Yep, exactly. Okay. So you're able to make your way. And Velitha getting down here will gesture down across the water, down to a little corridor further down south. So let me just go ahead and move all of you there. Boop. Whoa.
Oh my.
Boop. Okay, right here. So now she looks back to all of you and she says, in a whisper, "We will go up and then to the right. And then down. And when we go down, we'll be maybe 15 feet up. From where that is, you'll be able to see it, but there's a good chance that they will see us as soon as we see them."
Our goal here is to destroy it, right?
Not to destroy the vat, as I don't know if destroying it will destroy the souls or if it will just free them. I don't know. I'll need to look at it a little more. But destroy the mages, yes. His name is Amon.
All right.
Amon.
Let's go.
So she'll step forward and she will just make her way through this corridor. And she'll make her way right around this corner. And let me go ahead and move all of you up here. Pop. There you go, Nalfian. You're catching up. Alrighty. So as all
The
of you,
movement is so funny.
as all of you get there,
Ooh.
you can see this like green emanation coming from this large vat, where this one phantom mage is just kind of floating above, moving his hands around, and you can see every maybe 6 seconds or so, there are another 2 phantom warriors that are created. It doesn't exactly happen every 6 seconds, but it does happen frequently enough to sort of warrant picking up on. So you can see these sort of rows of bookshelves here, books mostly undisturbed. Some of the shelves are broken. There are some books that are littered on the ground, but for the most part, a lot of these books still seem to be in very good condition. You can see that these areas right here, this water is about 15 feet down. So it's a significant drop crossing that small little riverway right there. You can see different runic portals here. So just out of character here, whenever you step on one of these, it'll teleport you to the other one. Just with these blue ones here. Okay? All right.
Got it.
So you can see the bookshelves. They stand about 10, 15 feet tall, so they can be used as cover, but they can also be toppled. You can see another one of those, about 2 or 3 more of those pedestals that also have things on them, items on them. And yeah, so with that, they don't seem to have noticed you yet, but if you're going to get any closer than what you are, I'll need everybody to
If not, it's fine. I'm just going into this at half health, so I'm probably gonna have to second wind, which is fine. Because if not, that's totally fine. It's no big deal. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean,
It's up to
Blossom's
you,
also
you're
still pretty hurt. Because I don't know, does they have potions on? I guess it could have gone source, because we do have a few on us, I'm pretty sure, as a party.
they have 1 2d4 plus 2 potion.
Okay. Yeah, because they would have taken the bag, I guess, if we got a short rest than not, because then, hit dice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I do not have any potions on myself, but I have second wind, which I'm gonna have to use if we didn't get a rest, which is fine. I'm just, like I said, I was just asking a question.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and say yes. Because
you really don't have to. It's really no big deal.
No, because the conversation would have been about 45 minutes back and forth, and then taking an additional 15 to sort of look around the area and just investigate. Then yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll say yes.
Okay.
For anyone using hit dice, Song of Rest, you get an extra 3 HP.
Hey. What is my hit dice?
A 1d10 as a fighter.
Do I?
I should know this one's bards. Is it a D8?
1d8. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it a D10? I don't. I'm gonna roll it on here. I'm bad at my dice. Oh wow, that's tragic. I'm gonna use another one.
We are taking a short rest. I'm gonna put fireball back in the amulet as well.
Okay. All
I
right.
used
Sounds
it
good.
before.
Ow. That was. Might as well use another one. Jesus Christ.
I don't get that extra bonus.
Oh my god.
6 you get. Wait, was it 6? No, 3.
Are you adding the +3 to each hit die?
I think it's just the ones.
Oh, I thought it was just once. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just once.
Yeah. Anyone that can heal.
Let's see the chat.
Each of its creatures.
Oh,
regain
so
an
it's not
extra
okay.
1d6 hit points.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a 1 overall thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that was not as lucrative as I was hoping it would be.
Is there a way to track how many hit dice you've spent in D&D Beyond?
Yeah, if you click short rest.
Is it part of that? Okay.
Yeah, it automatically does it. You just have to select how
Totally
many.
should have done it that way.
You just have to select how many you want to do. Did you also add your con modifier? To all those hit die, Nalfian?
No, I totally did not.
Okay, so yeah, whatever your con modifier is and however many hit die you used, go ahead and add that.
Oh, I used a lot. Because I was looking pretty rough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I only used 4.
Okay, so then,
Only.
then whatever your constitution mod is, you'll just multiply that by 4 and add that to your hit points as well. I think that's... Isn't your con mod 3?
Yeah.
So take, an extra 12 hit points.
Bless. Okay, now it was lucrative.
There you go.
I'm so used to doing everything on D&D Beyond and rolling in person. It's new, okay?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So.
Okay, team.
Are you just?
Are we ready for this?
Sprinting in from here, or are you going to try and get into more of an advantageous
no.
position?
We got some pretty sharp shooters in here.
Yeah, Belitha is going to. She'll say, "I know that all of you had. I know that there are some trust issues, and I understand that, but I know what my skill set is, and if I stay elevated up here, I can do quite a bit of damage."
Can you figure out what we need to do to that thing from up here? Because if we take too much time, it seems as though whatever that is creating more. And at this point, we're just gonna be fighting indefinitely.
Okay. I will do that. Instead of staying up here, I will head towards the vat, and I will see if I can find a way to stop it or free the souls. But if I do, you'll have to distract them.
Okay. I say we ourselves into a position. Try to get the jump on them from up here. We'll kind of point to the different bookshelves. I assume like this up here is like a ledge itself, right? And then there's like a drop into
Yeah,
the
correct.
water.
Yeah, the drop is
And
about
then it
15
drops
feet
down
down.
here.
Yeah. Well, all of the stone is at the same height. Because this used to be one level area, and then due to time and erosion, the water cut through. So all of the stone is at the same height, it's just that the water is that 15 feet down.
Okay. And but like up here, she said she was gonna get an advantage?
Yeah, just because there's a height advantage to, because here you're about
Okay.
15 feet up.
Alright. All good. Yeah, well, we just need to get going in there. Now I'm just gonna point to the bookshelves and just say, if everyone can get behind something quietly, we can get a surprise, at least a surprise on them before they realize we're here.
Yep, that seems good.
Also, wait, so point of clarification. So the mage in the center is basically creating these things.
Correct, yeah. Seems to be pulling them from that vat and then apparating them nearby.
Does it seem to be like anything of control as well, or is it just the apparating?
No, they seem conscious of their own thought, but like thankful that they are there, so they're just listening to the mage. Yeah.
I mean,
Then
like, if I'm able to get like an entangle on them and get them restrained, then that could hopefully make things easier as well.
Yeah, and I would also point out that maybe with that in mind, we should focus fire on the mage first then. If it's the one pulling.
Yeah.
Okay. And then everybody puts their hands in. Go team!
Okay, first things first, I'd like everybody to make a stealth check as you're making your way down the cliffside and to the bookshelves.
Big fail.
One
So
of
that
us just
stealth check.
fucking
I'm gonna just
falls.
throw away whole ass character.
Now, is Twig staying up on the ledge to have the height advantage from like the ranged weapon, or is she?
I mean, thing is I feel like it would be useful to get an entangle off, because that's also a 20 feet radius of people that will be engulfed in that. So I think that's. Oh no, I'm clicking on the wrong things. Oh, hold on. I think. Because that elevation is from like these rocks, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, actually, if she stays, that's perfectly 90 feet. Entangle has a range of 90 feet.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, she'll stay up there.
Okay. All right, so that means Twig,
Just
you
send
do
the
not
beast
need to
down
make a
there.
stealth check then.
Actually, no, because it doesn't matter. Like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, yeah, beast would proof as well, I think, because it's been over an hour, which is
Oh, okay.
fine. Because she's also gonna use another concentration. So, right.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, spiritual beast. All right. So.
1.
Oh, natural 1.
Now roll the 17. If Eurydice
Alright.
is right next to him.
It
Okay,
really
never mind.
depends. So this is like a group check. So pretty much, it's if the majority
Okay.
of people succeed, then it doesn't matter if somebody failed. So that means Blossom and Velitha still have to make their checks. So Blossom plus 3 to Dex.
Velitha.
Okay, we're looking at a 12. And Velitha
It's probably useful to say that I guidance people, but oops.
plus 8 to stealth. Let's see, 18. Velitha. So,
I'm just gonna keep saying it every time I hear it.
Yeah.
I'll
So,
better fucking catch Yuri before she just face plants.
so Nalf, you and Velitha are staying very quiet, and you are very easily sort of sticking to the shadows. You can see her knocking her arrows, you getting ready to draw your weapons to draw them over. However, Blossom and Eurydice, as the two of you are making your way down, you end up stepping onto a book that had kind of been open, like ridge up. And as you do, it kind of catches on the heel of, it catches on the Blossom's hoof. And as it does, it's like an uneven surface and it kind of slips. And she kind of bumps into you, Eurydice, and you kind of bump into the bookshelf, and the bookshelf moves a little bit, and there's a couple of books that fall onto the ground. And you can see that all of these people over here, they notice. They all look over.
Release the arrows.
And with that, before anybody's able to get any type of shot off, as the phantom mage, who you all can assume to be Arman, looks over and just points his finger and he says, "Kill them." Looking over to all of you, sort of floating right now about 15 feet above that vat, just pulling the energy out. All of you knowing what you'll need to do, we'll have to see that next time.
You said we could go over. Joe,
You said we could go over.
Yeah, but
That's what you said.
Yeah, we did. By 5 minutes, we went over.
Absolutely
Protest.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. I mean, this is gonna be a long fight anyway, so you know.
Yeah, but like, we can do it right now.
It's okay. It'll make it all the sweeter. You know, distance makes the heart grow fonder. All right.
Well, we didn't play last week.
Yeah. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. It's the same thing.
Glad there's a bunch of distance between us right now, Joe.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Greatly appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed. I know that I did. So with that, we'll go ahead and pick up next Saturday, the Isles of Iverion, to see the continuation of this fight. Or tune in this upcoming Tuesday for the continuation of the adventures of the Salamander Coast as they continue their awkward family reunion with Odin. Or tune in next Friday as the explorers of Afera fight their way through the 88th layer of the Abyss, currently in the Tower of Mordekash, getting ready to fight on a bridge of like steel and lava. Pretty cool. Or next Saturday to see how this fight pans out and see how, if they eventually do get back to the surface next session, how Banrin reacts. But that'll have to be something that we look at next week. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.